we're going to be preparing a Dresden Files.
Yeah. And we don't have to be too. I'm not too worried. If we use it for like putting out, we'll just record it.
Oh, hi! Didn't see you there.
Well, didn't see you there. So we will. So it's a little different than the old Dresden Files core was. I'm a little quiet. I should probably turn myself up. I'm quieter than I thought I was. I think I'm number 1 because I remember singing that I was number 1.
Yes.
Talking now. That's in the yellow and it's good. Okay. So it's so weird to talk to you guys this way.
You can turn it.
No, I won't do it. It's a little different than the original Dresden Files was because that one you kind of like built like a whole city and you had like these places and the city's aspects and things like that, and you don't do as much of that. So basically what we do first is we make we talk about like factions that could be within the city, and we talk about kind of just like what things might be at play and like what goals they might have, and like not so much having to like fully define them and fully define aspects. We can put a few, but kind of like leaving it a little open, and not like the old step was like each one of these you need to have 3 aspects and 2 contacts and this,
like an idea of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and we had to specify each one as a threat or a whatever.
Right. And now it's more just like think of a faction. What like if you have an aspect in mind, great, or a few, and then like what are they trying to accomplish, whether it be good or bad. And then like if there is a particular like representative of that, you can add that too, or that can get added later. So that's the first step, and then we make characters, and then I think that's pretty much it.
Cool.
It's kind of easy. So
and then we never play the game.
And then we never ever play the game. So Brandon and I were talking about this briefly, or you as well. But I kind of wanted to like set it not in LA or just a place that we didn't really know.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to worry about like the details of it. It's kind of like easier to.
Because last time we just talked about what freeways we were taking the whole time.
Yeah.
Or like what type of building is this in real life?
Yeah.
Like I remember trying to think like I remember specifically going like what kind of parking lot does House of Pies have?
A very small one. I drove past
a very
it,
small one.
Yep.
So the place I want to set it is Tempe, Arizona, just because it's funny to me.
Yeah.
I also thought about Juneau, Alaska, just because Alaska is funny. But like Tempe is so dumb.
It's like a suburb of Phoenix.
It's just a suburb of Phoenix.
It's a university town.
Yes. It's where ASU is, I believe.
Arizona State?
Arizona State,
That's a party college.
which is a party college and is the home of the Sun Devils.
Yeah.
That's their mascot.
Perfect.
Which is like pretty good.
Yeah.
We could have done, where is it, Durham, North Carolina? That's Duke and the Blue Devils.
Ooh, that's the rivals. There's so many like you were saying, every city has like some weird thing.
Tempe was named after like the Glade of the Muses.
The Vale, it's named after this is what I found after because I just threw out a couple and I was just like, what's in Tempe? And like, what's Tempe all about? And Tempe is named after the Vale of Tempe, which is where it is a place in Greece that the Greek god Apollo and the Muses are supposed to live, which was like, yeah, that feels like a thing. Yeah. So there were a couple things that I thought like were interesting that I thought maybe we could see if we wanted to incorporate as factions that just came from researching Tempe. And like I don't have anything like set in stone, just like the idea that like maybe we'll use them in some way.
Yeah.
So like Apollo, just like having this place be connected to like Greek myth is very interesting. And so like if Apollo and the Muses are there, or like are physically there, or are like spiritually there, and so, or like some so like does that sound fun? Like I don't know, like, because we don't have to use any of these, like, but if anything, like how could we use Apollo? I know you had mentioned there's a company there called First Solar.
Yeah, which just you said Tempe, and I just like looked up what companies are here. Yeah, Cold Stones.
Cold Stone Creamery is headquartered there.
Really?
Or was headquartered there.
There were a lot of Cold Stones
until
when
the Unseelie Court was driven out.
And then the company LifeLock, the identity theft corporation, is headquartered there, which I had two funny ideas for.
Okay.
And then I guess I'll just list all the silly things I had. One of the sister cities, Tempe has 10 sister cities, which include like Timbuktu and like a bunch of ones.
What?
And also include the city in Sweden named Trollhättan, which is Manhattan for trolls.
Yes. Let's watch that Sex in the City.
Troll in the City.
I'm a grog whore.
I'm a curry. It's just no carry.
And then there's like looking up, like I just searched for like Arizona cryptids and like what like not mythological, but like what weird things do people think are in Arizona? And like, of course, Bigfoot. They still think there's a Bigfoot there.
In Arizona?
It's a desert Bigfoot.
Oh,
it's like a sand color.
It's
yeah.
Excuse me, let me get real close to the microphone for this. It's a sand squatch.
Oh, good. Good.
Whoa!
Goodbye.
Wear sandals.
Yeah. So there's that, and like the chupacabra.
Oh,
and
okay.
the giant jackrabbit. They think there's like a prehistoric jackrabbit.
Yeah.
That's like enormous, like the size of a bear.
Okay.
And like
So there is.
So there is.
Sun devils.
Not actual sun devils. I don't know why they're named after the sun devils. But
What
there's
are sun devils?
I don't know. A devil that lives in the sun.
Yeah.
I feel like that sounds like an ancient name that would be given to vampires. People are like, oh, they're the sun devils.
Yeah, they can't come out in the sun because they live in the sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then another big one's like the Thunderbird. Ancient
Native American Zapdos.
Yeah.
Oh, are Kachinas in Arizona? Or Hopi?
I have no idea.
If there's like Hopi, that's like a bunch of like Kachina gods.
That's cool.
Which is interesting. That might be more New Mexico than Arizona, but I can't remember.
We'll look at it.
We have the internet.
Get something.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get the thing.
The other idea, like just that, like there is a phoenix in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like it's named after the phoenix that lives there,
Or that's trapped, bound there.
Also, the other Vale of Tempe thing is that
Northeastern Arizona.
yeah. So maybe they migrated there.
Hopi.
It's possible that's like an ancillary faction somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the Kachina gods except what
They're
you
very
were
cool.
what you were telling me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
What's that? What are they?
Kachina gods, it's the Hopi tribe, and they just, they're like these like really like colorful, and they've got like sun god and like the crow mother and like, but Kachinas are popular because they make them into doll form and like people
like
they're the really
colorful.
painted,
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're like specific, right? It's
Yeah.
not like you can just make one. There's specific
Right.
ones that
They're
are, like-
specific gods.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
specific iconography for each of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like different types of dolls for different ages that you're only allowed to have one type of doll at a certain age, and like you change it up.
Did you know that Hopi people have a high rate of albinism? About one in every 200 individuals is an albino.
It's amazing what a quick Google search will tell you.
I know. Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the ones, yeah.
Kachinas.
And they're supposed to like
We
have
Mudhead. Mudhead is a good one.
Mudhead?
Mudhead.
I love it.
And they're supposed to have like maybe I'm just thinking of like voodoo dolls, but is there some type of like power that the dolls hold?
I don't know. Actually, I'm not
they just
fully clear on that.
representative?
I know that they like use them to teach children the gods.
Interesting.
Um,
That's
And
something.
they are like idols that you,
Yeah.
the personal idols that you like worship
Yeah.
to, right?
Yeah, and they have like lots of ceremonies where people dress up as these gods and like do specific dances and.
That's something that I would love to like research and see how to like use in a way that was not
shitty.
insulting and
Yeah.
shitty.
Yep.
But I wouldn't want to commit to anything without like actually
Yeah,
like
for
putting
sure.
a lot of thought into it.
Yeah. for sure.
But like I like the idea that there is some kind of like Native American element. Is that
American Indian is
American
currently
Indian.
Going
My
on? Well, it
apologies.
depends on who you ask, though.
Whatever the
everybody's
proper
in
word
disagreement
is,
about it.
I'd like
I've
to
heard that
use
most
it.
of them,
Yeah.
most of them prefer, if you don't know the tribe, to do.
Yeah.
American Indian. Yeah. Then I will, and I apologize for using the wrong one to all our American Indian viewers. Yeah, so maybe like having that be an element of like cochinas and thunderbirds, or like people who still hold to like the old ways or the current ways. I don't even know. But like I said, yeah, I would like to do research first.
That would be
and,
Yeah.
if we wanted to get into that at all, it would be definitely
Yeah.
like
Yeah. So I definitely don't want to be like, Native American myths. That sounds like something we could incorporate into this fantasy world.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but like, I don't
Yeah.
care about incorporating
I
Greek
mean,
mythology.
We're doing
Yeah.
European mythology.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I'm looking to see where the Hopi are.
Yeah.
I vote yes on there being an actual phoenix.
Yeah.
I wanna
Oh yeah.
Where the Hopi are.
They also because Brandon had asked when we were talking about it, like, would it incorporate the city of Phoenix? Because it's a suburb of Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the idea of like everything happening around this suburb, because it is like a largish area. And like maybe like having occasional traipses into Phoenix. But I was trying to think of like, well, why wouldn't you be going to Phoenix a lot? And I thought like, well, what if there is like somebody that's already taking care of Phoenix?
Oh,
Like
okay.
somebody
Yeah.
that's just like, and that maybe is like a faction unto, like a powerful wizard or something that is like a faction unto themselves. That's like, I've got Phoenix covered.
Like, say, a phoenix?
That's a good point too. That just like the Phoenix is the one that takes care of everything. That's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Like, but it doesn't leave Phoenix proper.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It's
it
bound-
doesn't-
it's bound
It's bound
by-
to Phoenix.
It's
It
bound by
doesn't-
the city limits.
Where is like Tempe in relation to like the state?
It's in the state.
Let's
Right,
pull.
right.
Got it.
It's in the state of Arizona. I can tell you that for certain.
Let's
Okay,
pull up a
that's good.
map.
That's good.
I've been there. I can tell you that.
I think I've been there.
Does that?
I went to the Tempe Improv. I can tell you that. I
The
can promise you
the
that.
Tempe Improv.
And I
Yeah,
also demand it's a fact.
So I have a map of where the Hopi. Oh, but why does this say Navajo Nation when I was looking at Hopi?
Navajo.
Okay, so
There's Tempe. This is good. This is good. Watch us view a map.
Watch this video map. I just basically
Glendale.
want to see like where. Yeah,
Glendale,
I've
Arizona.
definitely been there for a chocolate festival.
ooh.
Fair enough.
So this is, I know Phoenix is rather central.
Okay, so it's kind of
lower.
central. Yeah, it's central. Because I was wondering if like the Four Corners would have anything to do with it, but that's like far away.
yeah.
But that
It looks like we're pretty far away from
Yeah, you're pretty
the
far. So where is it?
Hopi
It's on the
reservation.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's
The early
This
Hopis
is-
lived near
this
Arizona.
is
This
nearby.
is
oh yeah.
they had a
that's
very
the-
wide range.
So that's like also something to consider. Like even if the current nation is pretty
yeah.
downsized, like I mean we did that basically. So
Yeah.
historically,
us
like,
personally.
they would. Yeah, we personally did it.
Sorry.
It would still historically, it'd still historically be there as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the typical Hopi cryptids and
Yeah.
gods and whatever.
I think let's have that be let's have that maybe be a faction with goals and aspects that we don't define right now.
Yeah.
And maybe
Okay.
that'll be something that like maybe isn't like so much like a full like organization, but like
Yeah.
there are like Hopi people and people who know like the Hopi ways and like are involved with various
Yeah,
things.
and none of us are one of them.
Probably
Probably
not.
not.
We probably will not do. Although we could.
What?
And none of us are one of them.
No.
Interestingly, so the Phoenix Zoo seems to overlap between the city limits of Phoenix and Tempe.
So half the animals belong to.
Yeah.
There's a secret animal
Assuming that
war.
the zoo takes up most of that botanical garden park. So
There's the big surf water park.
Oh yeah.
And then you, like, when you were talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
a thing that you liked that you found about.
There's something that I particularly liked, which was that there is a, and I kind of like, I'm super attached to it, I think, is just there is a invasive flock of wild lovebirds in Tempe.
Just one flock.
Just one flock.
Like how we
Like
have the parrots here.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much like that.
Which is very funny to me, and there's something about like them specifically being lovebirds.
Yeah.
That like is almost like, I don't know, maybe tying it into like Eros or
Yeah, like tying it into the Greek
Aphrodite.
god.
Yeah.
One of the
Yeah.
like Greek love gods or something.
Yeah.
But like there's something
That's funny.
when you brought it up, there's something interesting to me about it, like being something that just showed up all of a sudden, wasn't supposed to be there, and people are just kind of like, why are all these birds here? And like, what are they doing just
Yeah.
flying around town?
Yeah.
And
Not
also the
funny.
fact that they're lovebirds and invasive, because
Yes.
you don't usually associate those
Yeah.
things together.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are all the things that I had like that had just like popped out at me. But
The
like,
airport's called the Phoenix Sky Harbor.
oh, like maybe that's where the phoenix like roosts.
Yeah.
The phoenix nest.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting to sort of think about a phoenix being a like predatory thing, because
Yeah.
they're usually symbols of like healing.
What does a phoenix eat?
What is a Phoenix?
Okay, Google.
Okay,
Okay,
Google. Ask Alexa.
Are we going to include South Tempe?
South Tempe? Yes.
Okay.
No.
Because it's very small. It's like 40 square miles.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to just kind of generally like, in terms of like the scope of the world of it, I want to keep it within the like rules of like the game system, but not worrying about the lore of the books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you don't have to worry about like, I don't want us to ever have to worry about like, well, what do the books say? Or like, this was established by the books, so that means that this, you know,
Yeah.
like, there's still, 3 types of vampires that have their like abilities and stuff, but they're not like, what's set up in the books doesn't, we don't have to hold to
No
that.
spoil. Yeah.
Almost like we're not, because I think in the original it said that the games are taking place
At a specific time.
a specific time.
And
in
this
the book
one as
series.
well, but like, I don't want to worry about
Okay.
that.
So
And,
we're
like,
just kind of
and you
separate.
have, I don't know if you've read
So
I've read
you
the
read
first
a
one.
few, and we've read all of them, but
So all
Together.
vampires are hanging out.
yeah.
I mean, I would bet probably not in Tempe.
Maybe a few.
Not
like,
the black. Anyway.
Not the Black Court.
Not the black court.
Too sunny.
Too sunny.
They could be there.
They're all
just
concentrated
they're
in the
just
Pacific
in buildings.
Northwest.
Yeah, that's true.
They would have to. Yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
they can't go out during the day, even if there isn't sun.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I think the only things to keep are like what creatures are there, and then we'll figure out like how they interact, and then like I think there's still like a wizard council,
Yeah.
and there's still like the laws of magic, because that's
Yeah.
kind of a mechanic of it,
Right,
that
right.
everybody just kind of knows, but it's not like, well, I know that this is the person involved in the wizards council.
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
none of that needs to matter. There's
Okay.
no. It's like an alternate universe, Dresden Files,
with the
where it's
same-
just whatever.
With the same, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
got you.
anyway, just don't ever worry about like what do the books say, because we'll just, I don't know.
The Phoenix myth came from the potential origin of ancient Egypt by the discovery that Egyptians in Heliopolis
Lots of sun
venerated the
power.
Bennu, exactly. A solar bird observes in some respects to be similar to the Greek phoenix. And I think Heliopolis is the beginning of the Apolloine cult as well.
That has to be, yeah. So Phoenix and
Helios.
Apollo. So does that say to us that like maybe Phoenix and Apollo are kind of like at odds, or like are one thing, or
Or our allies,
right?
and they decided to take.
And that's why Phoenix is so hot. That's
Yeah.
why Arizona's so hot and getting hotter. So, what was I had a point and I forgot it. Oh yeah, so that's the other thing, is that like what?
Technically not I don't know specifically if it's Apollo, but it was the cult center of the sun god Atum, who later became known as Ra. So the Egyptian equivalent of Apollo.
Yep. Interesting. So the other thing that we should kind of talk about before we get specifically into factions is like, what type of things do we want to be? What type of things do we not want to be? Not the characters, but to be in the world. Like, it's like, if you're like, I don't want to deal with vampires, like, then there just aren't any in this area, at least. If we like, I specifically want to deal with like, this is not me saying it, but like, if somebody's like, I really want to like dig into like the criminal underworld, then we'll make sure there's an element of that. So like, if there is anything specific that we're like tired of dealing with, or like really want to like get into, then we can like make sure to add those. Okay. So I guess that's the question.
I'm not burnt out on any particular thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really.
Yeah.
Maybe like
so
ghouls.
long ago.
I feel like the last campaign that I played, there were a lot of ghouls, so maybe
we'll like stick away from the undead.
I guess so.
It makes sense too, because also like traditionally like sun gods hate undead. Mm-hmm. So like if this area is kind of like sun protected, then maybe
ghouls undead. I guess they are.
I think so.
I mean, I don't know the specific rules for undead in this world, but like it seems like a place that was really hot, they decompose pretty fast.
That also.
They'd like get all
or
melty.
they mummify.
That's true. Yep.
So maybe like at the beginning, let's say maybe we'll stay away from undead at the beginning, and like if there's something that gets added in later, great. But we won't make that like a major force in the city.
Let's just play out the plot of The Mummy.
The new one?
No.
The Brendan Fraser?
Yeah.
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 Great. So let's like I guess dig into like one thing. So what is Apollo doing here? Like what is he doing here? Where is he? What are his aims? Like who's he with?
I want to incorporate the Sun Devils being like some kind of army either of Apollo's or or an enemy of Apollo's, I guess. But if we say like Apollo has Tempe or Tempe, how are you pronouncing it? I don't know.
Let's find out later.
Yeah.
And
Tempo.
And tempo, and then there's like this massive phoenix that controls Phoenix. Then like the Sun Devils are like the army of one of those two things.
Interesting. I like that.
Or it's three
sun factions.
Sun factions trying to gain control of the power of the sun.
That's funny.
Like
so we have like
they're trying to harness the power of the sun.
Apollo's like the good one, kind of, right? Because he's a god of healing, but also of plague.
Also of plague. He might be neutral.
Yeah.
Or kind of chaotic.
Sun devils are trying to like bring about the end of the world by the sun.
And the Phoenix is like either like neutral or a protector.
Or the Phoenix wants the end of the world to come so that it can rise from the ashes.
Yeah.
It'll be the only thing left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Because I guess a phoenix sort of symbolizes healing by burning.
Right.
So...
Apollo, I feel like Apollo's the good one because he's like keeping life alive, right?
Yes. Yeah, because he's also linked with like medicine.
Yeah, his
yeah.
son Asclepius was like was the inventor, the god of medicine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sun Devils want to destroy the world.
There's something so funny about like if the Sun Devils want to destroy the world, there's something about like both Apollo and the Phoenix want to help, but by going to that place, they're also just making it hotter.
Making it worse.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like, that's interesting too, because like Apollo and the Phoenix don't have to be bad. They could both be good, or good in different ways.
Or like all powerful supernatural things, very self-interested.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if the Sun Devils are trying to are the evil ones, but they can't really get involved because it's like too much heat.
If we're going with Sun Devils is like not
like if the Sun Devils are like an evil army of some type. If they are a third force that is like trying to
Well, why would it be too hot for them?
No, I'm saying like if like that's why Apollo and the Phoenix can't get involved. It's like when Pikachus,
Oh,
lore-wise,
oh.
all get together, it makes a thunderstorm, so they can't hang out together.
Okay.
It's like Apollo's like, well, I could go deal with it, but like if we're all like,
Yeah.
like the combined force of our heat would
Yeah.
be too much.
Would bring about
for,
the
like,
apocalypse
people.
anyway.
And
The
that's why they
Apollo
Apollo phenol eclipse.
eclipse.
Eclipse. It's just the eclipse. So that's something interesting. I kind of like that. If it's like the Sun Devils are bad, Apollo's good, the Phoenix is good, but Apollo and the Phoenix can't deal with them.
Yeah.
They might even have like separate like maybe Apollo and the Phoenix are both good, but they're
separate.
also like
They have
they've got
separate
their own
goals.
priorities. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like maybe the Phoenix is kind of the original
Gangster.
OG.
like god there or faction or whatever.
OG, original
and
god.
then of
Yeah.
course Apollo comes over from Greece and like there's a little bit of tension even though they're both good. Like
Oh,
there's just
Apollo's
kind of
the...
like he's the white man.
Yeah.
Well,
oh no.
depending on when he came over, Greek people were not considered white.
That's
So,
That's true.
Metaphoric.
Fair enough,
metaphorically, yeah. The colonizer.
Apollo is the Christopher Columbus of this.
Maybe that's the thing, like being a Greek god, like Greek gods are like notoriously like you said, self-interested
And human.
and human and like vain.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the thing is like Apollo and the Phoenix both want to like be the protector of this area that's so important to the sun, but like the Phoenix is more like a disinterested like guardian. And Apollo's more like he wants this to be like
He
the
wants
cult
the
of
spotlight.
Apollo.
Yeah.
But he's still like good and protecty. He just wants this area to be his.
Yeah,
and
so
the
they're
people
like
to be
doing
his.
a shadow war against each other,
Yeah.
but they can't do it too
Batman
much.
versus Superman.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
have intermediaries.
It's a Cold War.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh. Cool. So Apollo, let's say his goal is to like turn, let's just say Arizona into the cult of Apollo.
Yeah.
Cult maybe is not the right word, but
But if
Yeah,
he
he
runs like
wants them to
Solar
worship
City,
him.
uh-huh.
Oh my god.
It's First Solar.
First
I think it was.
Solar.
We'll look
Solar.
that up.
It would be so funny if part of First Solar, which it might be, is those like telemarketing calls where he's secretly trying to convert people
That's-
to
yeah.
yeah,
the cult of Apollo.
we just want you to come to a quick meeting about how to
Just
get
give
free
it
refreshments and
And he's not like, not like forcibly conscripting people, but like using this like the massive personality of a Greek god
Yeah.
to like draw people in.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's also like solar panel people are like a little culty in some
Yeah.
ways.
Just a
bit.
little.
well, what if the solar panels all like in between the panels had like a symbol of Apollo in it?
Oh yeah,
And it
That was like
generating
their
power
brand.
for him,
Yeah.
for him.
Yep.
that's great. Solar panels, and it doesn't even cost him anything.
No, because
No,
and
and-
people wouldn't really suspect anything because it's just it's like the
Because it's not
branding.
taking like actual.
Yeah, it would be the
It's not
branding
It's
of
taking
it.
metaphysical energy, not
Yeah.
electrical energy. So what do they care?
It's like literally absorbing the sun to give actual power, and then like absorbing the worship of Apollo
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like give him actual power.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Cool.
essentially a prayer wheel,
And so
like
Yeah.
a Buddhist prayer wheel that like is moved by the wind, right?
it's a solar powered prayer wheel. And we're running with the fact that he's like physically there.
Yeah.
Like he is like, because Greek gods are just people essentially who walk and like exist.
Yeah.
So he's actually he's the CEO.
He's the CEO of
First
First
Solar.
Solar, yeah.
Cool. Great. All right. I feel like that's pretty fleshed out.
And we can be as jokey as we want with his name.
Yeah. Well, it should be A. His first name should start with
All
A.
right. Hey, it's me, Albert Paulo.
Yeah. A. Paula. And everybody asks if it's pronounced Pollo.
A Pollo, Mr. Chicken.
Mr. Chicken.
That's funny. So that feels pretty fleshed out. What about the Phoenix? What is the Phoenix's deal? This is a literal phoenix who
Yeah.
roosts at the airport.
But it's probably intelligent,
Yeah.
Yeah. A sentient
like
phoenix.
dragon level.
What if this phoenix? Because even as mythical creatures, phoenixes are still birds, right?
Yes.
They're not
Well,
like.
So I'm not saying Dresden says, but in the
traditionally.
Dresden Files, like dragons can assume human form if they want to. Because
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
like
yeah,
incredibly
yeah, yeah.
powerful,
It's
you know?
like an ancient, giantly powerful thing that
Yeah.
has
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever power we want it to.
Yeah.
I'm imagining what the phoenix is in like Harry Potter. That's like my first.
No.
image of
That's like a little. I would imagine this is like.
Yeah, like
50-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
like
yeah.
a dragon sized.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably able to like change its size as needed. Like, how about even maybe middle ground? Like, it can be like that small like perching thing that like in a Harry Potter, but it can also like spread out its wings and it's not this giant like massive.
Yeah,
dragon,
yeah, yeah.
like-
It's basically just like fire abilities where it could be
Yeah.
huge and spread out, or it could be.
Or like it is a smaller thing, and then it like basically has this like body of flame that it can like the body of flame is massive around it, and that's like effectively its body
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
Could be how it
And it
that
could
works.
probably turn into a person if it wanted to.
Yeah, certainly. And it can like communicate, I would assume.
Does
and,
it just live in a hangar? Does it have like one of those old big blimp hangars?
I think it has like, and they put it aside for it.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's
That's
where
like
it
a giant nest in there.
So is it just like, well, this is the bird that like lives here and like flies around and like does whatever it needs to do to protect people, or is it like, does it have an organization around it? Does it have like an intermediary, or is it just like it does its thing? What sounds
So
more
what's the Thunderbird about?
fun? I don't know enough
It's
about
more
the
of a storm
Thunderbird. I think it's
based.
more of like a force of nature type of thing. Though,
Well, there was
like,
that
I won't
one
lie,
in-
if there's a phoenix and a thunderbird, then like I'm adding in an ice bird, and we've got some legendary birds going.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one that was in Fantastic Beasts. If you saw it,
I
that's what a
forgot.
Thunderbird.
Okay.
Yeah, we can look up that legend a little more.
Yeah. I'd be interested in that.
It's a legendary creature. This is off of Wikipedia.
Uh,
The Thunderbird is a legendary creature in certain North American indigenous peoples' history and culture. It is considered a supernatural being of power and strength. It is especially important and frequently depicted in the art, songs, and oral histories of many Pacific Northwest coast cultures, but is also found in various forms among some peoples of the American Southwest, East Coast, Great Lakes, and the Great Plains.
in the Algonquin myth, the Thunderbird controls the upper world, while the underworld is controlled by the Great Horned Serpent.
Oh.
So it's like maybe not guardian of the overworld, but like
It's like almost like the Zeus.
Yeah, there's in the Menominee. I'm not sure how to say that. Of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where Algonquin is
The
either.
great mountain that floats in the western sky.
Algonquin?
No.
Did you say?
Menominee.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, the first one was Algonquin.
First was Algonquin.
Yeah.
That one is like it controls the rain and the hail.
Yeah, I think
Doesn't
so.
it, in Wayne's World, doesn't in that speech by Alice Cooper,
I
doesn't
wonder if there's a specific
Wait a minute.
mythology to Southwest Thunderbirds.
because if we've got a giant freaking bird that
Right.
has powers,
Right.
would Native American peoples worship that as a Thunderbird, or is there a separate
Like is the Phoenix the Thunderbird? Like just a different aspect of it?
or a different name for the same?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
a phoenix is Greek also, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Is it?
So it's,
I think so.
it's got an X in it.
Yeah. You know, they say if it's got an X, the Greeks
No, I mean there's
named X.
a lot of
Yeah. I thought so, but then somebody said something that made me doubt that.
Okay, so the Navajo myth of Thunderbirds is the male Thunderbird will blind his victims with lightning, has like thunder and lightning. The female Thunderbird is a rain bird.
in Greek
Yeah.
mythology, a phoenix.
Yeah, yeah.
And then in some versions, male Thunderbird would only kill men and the female would only kill women,
As is fair.
as is fair. Trans people are free to go.
Depending how they identify.
Depending on
That's how you decide which bird killed you.
Yeah, yeah. Or non-bird.
non-binary,
Or non-bird, yeah.
non-binary, the non-binary Thunderbird. does hail or something.
That adds up
That adds
for
up.
some reason.
What if? So, a phoenix
Uh-huh.
is like Greek and associated with Phoenicians.
Uh-huh.
So what if like Apollo called it a phoenix?
But
it's
it is,
a
yeah.
Thunderbird.
It's a Thunderbird.
Thunderbird.
But
And
he called it a phoenix, and it's so pissed off that he won't
Yeah.
acknowledge what it is.
Yeah. He's like, no, we have these over there. It's just
You're a
another,
phoenix. You're a phoenix.
another fucking
That's
phoenix.
fun. And that's why the Sun Devils are in Tempe specifically, because the Phoenix keeps them out of Phoenix proper.
Yeah.
The Phoenix, the Thunderbird.
Yeah.
That's funny.
This is a very stupid proposition.
Well,
Go
but
on.
It's just that the Phoenix or Thunderbird or whatever we've decided on is just it has caretakers, but that they are Southwest Airlines, which is why the airline is so shitty, because they're mostly just focused on taking care of like this bird.
It's a front. It's a front.
I really
Done.
like that.
That's fun.
Southwest Airlines. Yeah, let's
So
go.
it's a thunder. So it's like a
Let's go
thunder.
with the idea that it's a Thunderbird, and like it lived there, and basically like Apollo came over from Greece, so it was like, a Phoenix, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm a Thunderbird. It's like, I will name this area Phoenix after the Phoenix that resides here.
Yeah.
And that's why he's in Tempe also, because the Phoenix is like, no, you get the,
No.
get the
You
fuck
can't
out of
go
here.
outside.
I will not allow you.
Just like how Christopher Columbus was like, I'm in India, so these must be Indians. And everyone
Yes.
was like, no.
So it's like a legitimate Thunderbird controls weather.
Yeah.
And controls that. Great, and that like feels like maybe that's like Apollo and the Thunderbird are both good, but there's like a source of tension there. Plus, like Apollo is like the sun, and this is like weather.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
feels like maybe Apollo is like a little overbearing in terms of like the weather fight.
Oh yeah.
And that's why there's like not rain and like
Yeah.
and like water coming into. So maybe
So
there's
he's trying to like choke. He's trying to like supplant the Thunderbird.
maybe.
So he's like denying it rain.
I think maybe, and that's why it's so. We got so much climate change stuff going on.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Hey, it's better than Faye.
Yeah. You're telling me. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that seem fun?
That seems
Yeah,
fun.
So the Phoenix is like trying to like kind of hold Apollo, not down, but like hold back Apollo.
They're
so
just
that
fighting
there's-
each other for control.
They're
of
two
the-
sides of balance
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of
Yeah.
of weather, but
So
they're both
they're-
good.
Yeah.
So they're like fighting each other, but also there's this existential threat that they have to keep like banding together to fight off every once in a while, so they can't. No one can knock the other one off the pedestal.
Right. It's like a precarious position they've got going on here.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. And then we've got Southwest Airlines. I love that it just like roosts in an airport. That's really funny.
One of those old blimp.
Yeah.
really
a
big
big
blimp.
hanger.
Yeah. Cool. So, okay. So here's the stupid two ideas I had for LifeLock. So LifeLock's the identity.
Okay.
Oh my
theft
god.
company. So I have two ideas. One is more straightforward. One is just that they are like an organization that provides identity theft protection and hunts shapeshifters.
Okay.
So that's one idea, that they just like, they are like on a crusade to wipe out shapeshifters because they don't want anybody to be assuming different identities.
Oh my god.
Second idea, which is stupider,
Okay.
is that LifeLock headquarters is the like accorded neutral grounds. Because there's it's just like the neutral area where like nobody can fight, and the way they do it is there's like a section of the building where when you enter into there, you surrender your identity at the door, and so basically everyone is just like a clear like featureless blob, and so you don't know who you're talking to while you're in there because no one has an identity.
That's weird.
And then when you leave, you like put it back on like a
coat.
Like a coat. You check your identity at the door.
Oh
I don't know
my
that
God.
works. That
But
might
then
be
how would
That
you
would
know
be-
who you were
yeah.
negotiating with?
I like
Exactly.
that, but I think it would be really difficult for that to
I
be the
agree.
accorded neutral ground.
I agree, it would. Anyway, that was my stupid idea. Same thing was like, I don't think that works, but it's
very
But it's
funny.
still funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Maybe they let people make anonymous tips to other people.
Oh, it's like
Like a
it's Saraha,
yeah,
What's
or
that?
whatever that thing is called.
Facebook thing where you
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, give anonymous messages.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
We
like
also
a
don't
week.
have
Maybe
to
if you're
include them.
hunted by them, if they're coming after you, they come after you as featureless blobs.
Oh, like they don't have identity. Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of like
Ooh.
Then we also don't have to include that. I just thought it was funny that
That's
they're
fun.
there.
I like them being just like anti-shapeshifters because they're like, no one can have multiple identities.
Yeah, it's like you are what you are, and that's like
And that's what we believe.
that's what they believe.
Yeah.
There's
They would be
something
bad.
Yeah.
fun about like almost a malevolent organization that like does like that deals with identity theft, but they find the identity thief and then they assume their identity.
They like take
They take
like
over,
you
like-
forfeited your identity. Add it. Oh, that could be a thing. If it's like
It's like the faceless men.
It's the faceless men from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yep,
Like
yep.
once you run afoul of them, they like take you out and they steal your identity and add it to their roster. Of,
Yeah.
like, things they can. That's interesting. So like, would it be that they just hunt shapeshifters, or like what would their? What's your idea?
Oh, this is. I'm doing the other thing that I do according to Neutral Ground. Apparently, there's a donut place that I think is open 24 hours, but I'm researching it, called Hertz Donut.
Hertz Donut. Stupid.
Like HERTZ.
HURTS.
Oh.
Is there a comma? Hertz Donut?
No,
Question mark.
I know. Open
Yep,
24
that
hours.
pain hit you right in the Hertz donut.
Hangover hoagies.
Hangover hoagies. Are you just looking up silly restaurants?
I'm just looking up 24-hour things
Even
in
if they're-
Tempe, Arizona.
Even if they're not 24 hour, like they could be.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
need to worry because we
Max isn't, right, in the books. Open 24
don't-
hours.
Well, but I was just saying, even if they're not in real life, like
Oh, yeah, they can.
you know, whatever,
Whataburger?
whatever. Einstein's. All I know is when I went to Tempe, I ate only at In-N-Out and Einstein's Bagels because we couldn't get anywhere else.
Oh, really?
So we just had that for 3 days.
Nice.
There's a place called French Fry Heaven.
French fry heaven, run by an angel who
Yeah.
keeps everybody in line.
Yeah.
Run by an angel who just wants to feed everyone. Who's tired of keeping people in line. Just wants to feed everyone.
But like everybody has to be nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because it's a little
Yeah.
heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
heaven.
then all the French fries like get reincarnated as other French fries. He just has one batch of French fries that like they get eaten, and then their little souls fly out, and then they get reincarnated in the kitchen as a new French fry.
That's what they
What does
taste
that
so
mean?
good.
What does that
You
fucking
know,
mean?
that was
You
a
know.
very clear explanation of
was a very
the French
clear
fry life
explanation.
cycle.
I'll go through it again. They get made.
No,
they
I get it.
eaten, their little souls fly out of your mouth.
Because
Go back to the
potatoes
kitchen.
have souls. Potatoes have multiple souls.
That's true. One for each eye.
One for each fry.
Oh, French fry. I don't mind the idea of French fry heaven with a little, just an angel who runs it.
Yeah.
And that's the neutral ground.
An angel? A fallen angel?
I guess technically fallen because he's like, nah, I don't want to get involved in this like
A neutral
good versus
angel?
evil. Yeah, a neutral angel, a fallen neutral angel who's not evil.
No.
He's just like,
He just wants to make
I
French
don't want to fight
fries.
anymore.
Or a Nephilim?
Uh,
Okay.
I just couldn't remember what that was. And I was trying to.
It's Hebrew lore. It's like in the Bible, the angels slept like bred with people, and
Oh.
they spawned a race of giant people called the Nephilim.
That are the heroes of Diablo 3.
Are they?
All the heroes of all the Diablo games are Nephilim, I believe. That's the only reason I knew that word.
I only know it from there was like another RPG that was about being Nephilim.
Called Diablo 3.
Also, Big Magic.
Big-
the Gathering.
The lobbying
Big,
that
the big industry.
Yeah.
Big magic.
Get stuck on Big Magic.
uh,
Peter had a Nephilim deck.
Oh, did he?
It was they're like 4 colors. They're like weird 4-color things. Anyway, never mind.
so there with any of these factions, so the things that you put into a faction that we don't have to do all of them is like a goal, and then maybe later I'll add a secret goal that maybe you don't know about.
Okay.
Obstacles, resources, weaknesses, if any aspects we want, and then like That's for later. Yeah, so if there's any of these that like we specifically like want to add any resources, aspects.
Do we want to do
we
that
kind of
for
got-
the ones we've already got?
We don't need to have them for all of them. Like we want to have a goal for all of them, which I think we do so far. But like if there is like, I guess the only thing we would have is like if there's a specific person that like you want to be like the face of it, which like for Apollo probably
Apollo.
maybe is Apollo. Or
Yeah.
Probably the aspect Titanic ego
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Titanic ego.
or some equivalent.
Anyway, just something to think about.
Thinks the sun rises in his own pants.
Okay, so did we want to? So what did we settle on for lifelock? So
Oh yeah.
I
I
like.
like the like faceless man thing, even though that is cribbing a little bit, but it is very apropos for something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe like, does that mean they are shapeshifters also? But they're like, it's like the like fantasy trope of like no magic users except for us. And we
Yeah.
hunt down
Yeah,
all of them
yeah.
except for us.
So
We-
Well,
What are they
because they
trying to do?
believe that they're doing it in an organized fashion.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, so they're
What- yeah,
It's
what's
just the
their,
lawful versus chaotic.
what's their like specific goal then? I guess is like why are they why would they hunt shapeshifters or whatever?
to control identity, like and
But why do they want to control identity? I guess would be. The
Oh, I
question.
see.
Like what purpose does that serve? And like that's
Are
their.
we throwing in too many evil things?
I don't know that we have anything evil.
Except for the Sun Devils.
The Sun Devils, which we'll get into what they are, but like
They're
I don't know.
grassroots
And the other
organizations.
thing is like all of these things are just like, yeah, some they added like. One thing I like about it is they added like whenever you reach a milestone for the characters, the world also milestones, and so you go like, okay, what happened in that session?
Fun.
So like you stopped, this organization from doing this. So, like, how does that change their goals?
Yeah.
How does that change their next step? How does that change their resources, their weaknesses? And for everyone that you didn't touch, how does the fact that they were able to
Unopposed,
go unopposed
yeah.
for a certain amount of time, how does that change what they've done, what their next steps are, what their resources are?
That's smart.
And the longer that like one faction goes,
It'll become more powerful.
yeah, so it's kind of a thing of like we want probably a couple of things that are antagonistic so that we don't have to deal with them, but like they might be present and like you might have a choice to deal with them or not, like that type of thing.
So is there a large shapeshifter community then? That
Maybe.
they're trying, is there like a
Yeah.
powerful shapeshifter community that they are trying to,
Yeah.
Very-
Or I wonder if they would not only target
Skinwalkers?
people who are like literal shapeshifters, but also people who are like were creatures
Yeah.
who could
Oh, yeah.
who have to.
Yeah,
That is a shape.
Anyone that
Okay.
can turn into
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
else, I guess, would be the like.
Yeah.
So maybe they do have like maybe there is like some like sect of like evil shapeshifters of
or
some
good
type.
shapeshifter?
Or good shapeshifter.
Yeah.
The question is like, are they an evil group or are they like a good group who take it so far that they're evil? Like they're like, we've got to stop, whatever, these werewolves who are like killing people, and to do that, we're going to wipe out every shapeshifter. And
The
make
only
sure
good
nobody-
shapeshifter is a dead shapeshifter.
Okay, so the Hopi actually have a Skinwalker story,
Interesting.
or several Skinwalker stories, where they do believe in like malevolent witches who are capable of transforming into wolves, coyotes, bears, birds, or any other animal.
Who are just like all-purpose
It's
shapeshifters.
closer. No, it's closer
For animals.
to Selkie than a because they have
so
the
they
hide
take
or
their skin
skin of an animal, and
That-
whichever
That
hide
could
or
complicate
skin.
the character you might have been thinking of trying to make, which was like a Selkie type thing.
Well, that's not complicated. That's
Not-
just
that's
tying you into...
Complicated in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they have Skinwalkers, which are
So maybe there are these like
Different than the Dresden. The Dresden
Has,
one
like,
is
that negligence.
hyper powerful.
it's like a crazy.
That's Navajo,
spirit.
though.
Yeah.
But different regional speak skinwalkers.
So, if that's the case, are there like, so maybe there are these like skinwalking witches that like can turn into whatever animals and
Like
like do
Family line, maybe? Or a tribe?
yeah, and like maybe there are some of them that use it for like awfulness,
Yeah.
and like this organization is like, well, we've got to wipe that out, and to be sure, we're gonna get rid of any,
any shapeshifter.
and we're gonna like taste the devil's power to kill the devil type of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's why they're
Okay, yeah.
like the only fight fire with fire type of thing.
Fight shapeshifters with
shapeshifting.
I feel like this is definitely an X-Files episode where there was like they visited like an American Indian reservation like the people there was like a family that could turn into bears or something.
And they were like, and everyone was like, let us deal with this.
Yeah.
I feel like was the,
yeah.
Or maybe I'm thinking of the Amish episode.
I think
Maybe
same,
like weird,
same thing.
The weird reincarnating Amish,
Yeah.
who are aliens, I think.
But I think there was a similar kind of plot line with that one where it was like, no, this is just something that has to happen. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
It's like a force of nature that continues. Happens.
So maybe we'll have that there are like beings that are capable of doing this, and some of them traditionally have used it for evil, and then this is the company that's going to stop them, but they're taking it so far that they're evil.
Yeah.
So for LifeLock, just hunts shapeshifters, using shapeshifting.
They're like the war on drugs or the war on crime.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna stop all crime by
or the war
also
on
committing
terrorism.
crime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop this from happening by denying a whole bunch of people civil rights.
Right.
Yep. But it's just
and trials.
But it's
So,
better.
Once you're hunted, they have your identity.
Once they get you.
That's what I meant, yeah. By hunted. Like once they hunt you down, once they get you. Once you're hunted.
Getcha.
They think they're noble, probably. Might be an aspect.
Yeah.
Crusaders.
Yeah, they're literally the new crusade. Is LifeLock.
Yeah.
Or more like, it's more like the witch trials.
Yes, it's exactly that. Yeah.
Because a lot of people, how do you know?
If they stop the witch trials by doing satanic rituals,
we'll never know.
Never know.
I almost think like maybe just we'll tweak that just a little bit to make it that like one or two witches were evil, because otherwise we're turning into a kind of a race war.
I don't think all
thing.
of them.
If there is like shape-shifting witch, you probably want
I think
to.
there's probably like one that was.
What if like the person who ran that company, their son or wife or whatever got killed by one of these people,
And so now they're
and so they're like
on a crusade in the same way that like. Because I know that's another thing in Arizona for real is just like immigration.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like,
well, yeah,
that
I
kind
don't
of,
want
like,
it to necessarily reflect that in a certain...
but
well,
like...
I mean, we could, I mean...
But it's certainly there.
Yeah.
So maybe there was some kind of inciting it. And maybe like it wasn't even necessarily an evil witch. Like maybe it was, or
maybe
it
they
wasn't.
thought it was, and maybe they thought it was a witch and it was some other supernatural thing.
Yeah, or like a bear.
A bear.
An actual bear.
Um,
Are bears in Arizona?
No. They had black bears.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona is correct.
Bears.
Or like, Anyway, so they have like a reason to be doing this, but it's not good. And
It's not a valid
too
reason.
far. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, so these like skin walking witches, is this like a group of, is it like a coven of them, or is it just like there are people spread but they're not connected except that they all, or is it just like a thing that some people have in the area that's like they've got a touch of like that blood, not necessarily bloodline, but
yeah,
it's in their history is like they had another one of these skinwalkers in their family tree and it's like expressing in them.
Yeah.
Is it that, or is it like there is like a cell of these people who like are together and it's like a group? Like what do we think about that?
I almost kind of like I don't know, maybe like a combination, just because like maybe there is like the Hopi Skinwalker faction, but maybe there's also just people who have moved there and people who are like
and a lot of people have a touch of Native American blood somewhere far
Yeah.
back, so it's like,
what if it is a thing of like there's not a real like faction of it, but there's somebody who's trying to create one
because there's a
to
threat.
fight back.
Yeah.
So it's
like the Paranet.
So let's just call it for now just skinwalkers. because that I think was the term.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe like one like leader who is like beginning to organize people to like either fight back or defend themselves.
Or just get together for safety.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe there's like it's one leader and like a couple of people, and it's like a faction that maybe could grow and maybe could be connected or
Maybe
like,
could crow.
They definitely can crow.
One of them's a crow.
One of them's Sheryl Crow.
Is there anything?
One of them is singer-songwriter Sheryl Crow.
Is there anything about the
Who turns
leader?
into a bear.
Are there bears in Arizona?
Oh my gosh. A were rattlesnake.
We talked about
We
it.
talked about it.
I also had this idea that is so stupid and simple that I think it's funny, but like a werehorse,
Yeah, why not?
which is like at first glance is like it's dumb, but it's like well,
They're very fast.
very fast. You could do some serious damage. People can ride you.
Yeah. You can
Eat some berries.
eat some berries. You could
If there's an evil, okay, so there's an evil organization of oats. And it's,
the Quakers. You could also use horses
Quakers in
as
Arizona?
transportation for cargo.
probably
So
Maybe, yeah.
like an
By
organization
now.
of friends.
Yeah, by
What
now.
are they called?
What?
Is that what Quakers? Organizations of friends?
It's like an assemblage of friends or something.
Assemblage.
It might.
Society?
circle of friends.
I don't know.
Circle K?
Bowl.
Okay.
Bowl?
Bowl of friends.
Bowl of friends. I'm imagining like a bowl of cereal with each of the 6 cast of friends on each
Oh,
like
no, I ate
Rice
Chandler.
Krispie thing. I ate Chandler. He's strawberry flavored.
Speaking of Chandler, is there anything
A candle making group.
Is there anything we want to is there anything we want to define about like who is the leader of like this skinwalker group? Like who is like starting to assemble them? Like who is this person? Like is there anything? Is it just somebody who is one of, or is it like is there anything particular about this person that is interesting or like specific or is like the reason that they are fighting or like is this like a special person or is it just a person who is like just starting to organize things?
I think it would make sense for them to be related to or have some relationship to whoever was involved in like the original incident that caused this like crusade to begin.
Sure, yeah.
And so they're kind of like the opposition.
I can see that. What?
What if they're like the other kid of the LifeLock person
Yeah, that's good. That's super good.
and they accidentally...
And they were the one that did it.
Yep.
Oh no!
They didn't know, they didn't do it on purpose. Are we going to take a break soon?
Yeah. Feel free.
Okay. I'll take a
What
break.
about
Right now?
Like I did. So I love the idea that Trollhättan is the sister city. I don't think necessarily it's a big thing from the start or like a giant, but I like the idea that it's like a functional city of trolls.
Yeah.
Who are like they're not big smash. They're just like hey, it's a city of trolls, and
Yeah.
we live here, and it's like a functional
And they're like
somewhere in Sweden.
Yeah.
I think of it as like an underground like Times Square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
That's fun.
But I think maybe there's just like the ambassador from Troll.
Yeah, I was gonna
Which
say,
is
would
like-
there be like an embassy?
He has like an embassy
Yeah.
in town, and like I don't know what that means. Like
Just
a
an
little
office.
tiny.
I don't
Are
know.
we going to go with the fact that trolls are winter?
Yeah, I think they're like because there's the 2 courts of
Yeah.
Like
Well, then it would make sense because in order to show bipartisanship, the city would want to have.
That's-
He's a good neutral party.
Yep. So troll embassy, ambassador.
Ambassador
Is that the Cold Stone?
JP
Oh my
Trollman.
The old
God.
Cold Stone place?
Goldstone.
That could be Coldstone. I like the idea.
He took their office.
Oh, because they left. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Coldstone left.
Coldstone was like headquartered there until recently.
Oh, Trollstone.
Well, when is this set? 2004?
Yeah.
That was a good year for all of us, right?
I graduated high school.
And I don't think they're. Yeah, me too. I don't-
1993.
I don't think they're like
Big
you know
fans.
they're just like another people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think, or these trolls specifically just have a civilization of some type. And who knows what that is. And maybe they don't have like a specific agenda right here, but they're you know, they're a voice around.
So they're like a fairy embassy?
Yeah. I think it's like he functions as an ambassador both to Trollhättan and to the Winter Court, maybe, if we need like a fairy influence or whatever.
Yeah. A troll.
I think the Sun Devils, let's leave like a little undefined, because that feels like maybe something that will come up pretty...
Are they fae?
For some reason, I imagine them as, like, when you said Sun Devil, the picture that pops into my head is what a Red Court vampire looks like without its
like an evil bat type thing.
No,
Yeah.
like you know how
Yeah, they look like flabby bats.
they're like red. They're like red muscle, like without their
like,
skin.
So you're thinking like that shade of red of like something like that's been like flayed, or like ugh, that's awful. Awful in a good way. Yeah. Let's
I'm
leave
gonna
it.
look at what their mascot looks like.
Yes, please
Yeah.
do. Actually, please do. And like, are they like? It's like a bunch of like these little devils.
Yeah.
Right? I assume like it's not like a thing. It's like
Yeah.
It's like a plague
yeah,
of
yeah,
devils,
yeah.
essentially.
If you just treat like whatever the mascot looks like and then take an unracist caricature, like
Well, that's just
We'll
a straight
just
up
say
devil.
that
That's just a devil.
Yeah, that's so weird. Its head almost looks like that of like
They're
a
little
parrot.
like, let's say they're like little imps that are like muscle red.
Yeah.
Like that's awful. And
that kind of feeds into the chupacabra mythology too, because like some of those are like a little bit
that's
weird,
funny.
like
that's,
that kind of.
they've been like mistaken for a chupacabra when there were fewer of them, and they were just like skittering around.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay. So Sun Devils, little muscle imps.
And they're controlled by the Heatmeister from that
From
claymation.
Santa Claus is coming to
Yeah.
town. I think.
I'm Mr.
I know it.
Heatmeister.
I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Heat Blister.
I'm Mr. 101.
Listen, I know all the words of both of them.
Oh, yeah.
So
You did one of those at Tournament of Nerds.
I did. It didn't go over well.
I would have
That's
cheered.
chupacabra.
Yeah.
Yep.
That feels about like close to in terms of size. Like
Yeah.
the color's off,
Yeah.
but it's like a little muscly, awful, like
Like
no
the size of a kid.
Yeah.
And those are awful.
Yeah, what do the kids in this town want?
Kid size?
What do the kids want?
Anyway, so the devils,
Candy.
like, maybe I'll kind of define those secretly, what the
Yeah.
devils
Got it.
are up to.
And I think it would be funny if, well, maybe this is just too much playing on the like Apollo and the solar panels thing, but like if the actual Sun Devils resemble closely enough what the school's like mascot is,
They have
then-
that face.
Yeah, then like like they would be able to walk into football events without being cloaked or
mascot's here.
because they'd just be like, oh, you're just
That's
someone
funny.
who painted themselves.
He's
Yeah.
the biggest one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yep. So the like last two little ones, I like the idea that the muses are also here.
Yeah.
But like, he's a bandito in that picture.
Oh no.
I like the idea that the muses are around, but that maybe like, for some reason, I just like, because there are more muses than I thought there were. Like looking
8?
at it, it's like 8 of them, and they're like, it's
They're
not
only
just
like
like
3 in
it's
Hercules.
Not, well,
so.
yeah, but it's not just like music and art. It's like music, art, math, geography, history. Like it's a weird chunk. And so I was thinking,
Are they all
This is
female?
very
I
crinkly.
think so. That's
What if the muses are the like board of directors or whatever
ASU?
at ASU?
I was kind of thinking that, but I was also thinking of the wrinkle of like maybe they're just gone all of a sudden, and like
that's the mystery.
there's
or
like
that's the
something going where like they've all disappeared. They used to be exactly that, like the boards of the various schools at ASU.
whatever like your mom is, like the vice provost.
Vice provost. of
They're
students.
whatever anyone's mom is.
Yeah, they're all moms.
So,
So they're on Mars.
writer, retired.
Yeah.
Pre-tired biological sciences consultant.
Fair enough. But like, I think I like the idea of like they're just gone all of a sudden, and maybe like that's something that could kind of factor into like something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
And they were working with Apollo.
probably, yeah.
Yeah. I also like that.
But I like
So
it.
he
Oh.
just whacked all of his helpers or vanished them.
Maybe, or maybe it's not related, or who knows? Like, just maybe it's like a recent, like within the last few weeks, like they're gone, and like that could be like a thing where like the school is like suffering in some way because of it.
Yeah.
But I like that being a mystery because I also don't know what that would be. Anyway, I
And
just
there's
like
something to having like Bacchus at ASU also.
since it is a party school.
It's like the party school of the country.
Oh my
I
god.
thought Boulder was the party school of the country.
I've always heard
Oh,
of
I thought
ASU
San
being,
Diego
like,
State.
well, they
There
are
are a lot of there
Santa
are,
Cruz.
everybody
That and
dies of alcohol
Penn
poisoning,
State
but-
likes to brag about its party reputation too.
Yeah.
Well,
That kind of
not
party.
anymore. Anyway,
The worst kind of party.
I didn't realize how much bad shit went down at Penn State.
There
There was a massacre
What?
during the 60s protest.
Yeah.
There was a
National Guard shot people.
Yep.
My mom's friend was there
Um,
going to school.
She was one of the National Guard.
My mom was the National Guard, and she no.
and then, like, if you wanted to have that, like, flock of lovebirds be something,
I-
unless you wanted to be connected to it in some way, we could leave it a little bit vague of, like,
I
what
like
are
the
these things?
idea of
Oh,
it
the
them
muses
being
disappeared, and suddenly there's a flock of lovebirds.
Maybe.
because well, does is Apollo Aphrodite's brother?
I think so. I think they're all Zeus's offspring.
But they can still fuck, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
Greek.
Greek.
I mean,
Yeah,
yes.
that's great. Because
Yeah.
what if the lovebirds are spies employed by Aphrodite, and she was jealous that Apollo was hanging out with the muses,
Very
so
possible.
she's kidnapped them and sent the lovebirds to
He wants
spy
to
on
leave
him.
this.
Well,
Never
yeah,
mind.
Yeah.
but
I'm gonna define it very specifically, only because you
Sure.
said
what
you
if,
wanted
and
to.
then we don't even need to play.
Yeah,
Paul's the
but,
son
like-
of Zeus and Leto.
yeah.
Jared Leto.
Jared
Yeah, I
Leto,
think, like-
the Joker.
And I know, like, I don't know if you want to start getting into characters and stuff, but like, I like the idea of being like maybe some kind of emissary for Aphrodite.
Yeah.
If that's like,
Like, connected to that.
She's got a big ego too.
I'm 100% fine with that if like that's because Greek gods are in play. So like if we want her to be a player in this town in some way, and you are
Yeah.
like somehow connected to her, A plus, like great.
Artemis. His sister's
Artemis.
Artemis. The huntress.
Right.
The chase
Huntress.
hunter.
Right.
But I think they're all
But they're all
children
It's a
of
big
Zeus.
family.
Oh, yeah.
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 I'm just trying to figure out.
But yeah, they
Yeah.
are the like
Leto
twins, I
is the
think, or
daughter
something.
of Titus, the Titans Coeus and Phoebe.
They'd be half brother
Yeah.
and sister.
Yeah.
Whereas I
Full
think
Yeah.
Greek lovers.
yes, because born of different mothers to the same father, to Zeus, I assume.
Because almost everyone is
That was
Zeus's son.
son and daughter.
He's really like a plant. You can cut any piece of him off and graft it onto something in a sun.
So-
will
Or you
grow.
can cut any hole into him and raise a baby in it, like Bacchus was.
Oh yeah.
just put a hole in it.
Well, Athena tricked. No, sorry. Hera tricked Zeus into revealing his true form to Bacchus' mom, who was a human.
Right.
And she immolated. And before the baby could be destroyed, Zeus scooped it out of her and then cut a hole in his thigh and put Bacchus in his thigh and sewed it up so he could gestate the
Just
baby.
like in vitro fertilization.
Just
They put it in your thigh.
they cut a pocket out of your thigh.
Yeah. So let's talk about characters then, because we've got a lot of good factions and good stuff.
Good goods.
Aphrodite's not related to them.
No.
Really?
In Hesiod's Theogony, Aphrodite was created from the sea foam produced by Uranus's genitals that had been severed by Cronus.
So Uranus
Alright, so that's it.
peed into the sea and made a lady.
No, they cut off his balls.
And made a lady.
Cronus was his son, right? So that was like Cronus was Zeus's dad, I think.
So she's like,
she's like daughter of
She's a titan in
She's
the
a-
ocean.
yeah. So she's different.
She's different.
That's interesting. If they're like, these Greek gods have been here for a long time and kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like a couple of different forces of almost like the Greek gods, like the elements of like that have been here
Native American
like
elements.
the American Indian like gods who have been
Yeah.
here since the beginning of time.
Of humans getting here, yeah.
And then like the Greek gods, Apollo and Muses and whoever else decided to came, and then now like Aphrodite is coming to a separate, like the Titan element. Interesting. Could be a thing.
Who's where's Eros come into all this? 'Cause
Eros-
is that with like
Eros is
Eros is also a Greek love god, so it could be.
no. Eros is Aphrodite's son,
sun?
I believe.
But with whom? Or is it?
I'm
Or
gonna
was
look
it
at
with
children
anyone?
Eros.
Or was it with
Follow
anyone?
the link.
She could have just.
Roman
Sprung up one
counterpart was Cupid. Blah blah blah. He was
Or it's just Cupid.
Yeah.
son of Aphrodite. Yeah, well, Cupid is another name.
Yeah.
Son of the deities Aphrodite and Ares, because she was cheating on
Okay, so
Hephaestus.
Ares.
with
Eros is like love and war combined into one.
Hence the bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be, if you want to go with love as a theme, since they are lovebirds, then it could be like Eros or Aphrodite.
Yeah.
Other children: Phobos, Deimos, Harmonia, Pothos, Anteros, Hermos, Hermaphroditus.
Are lovebirds a type of
Hermaphrodite.
sparrow or finch?
Yep.
Interesting.
They're
Hermaphrodite.
a
Or they're
little
the-
parrot.
Ah.
They're very cute.
They're very
Who
similar.
I mean, I
who
know.
was-
Yeah,
who was
I know what they look
the-
like. I
as
just
far
don't
as I
know
know, the
what
only
type
intersex
of bird
god.
they
Yeah.
count as.
So I guess the question is,
In-
which god would you want it to be connected to, and what are their aims here? Because that could be its own faction that you represent,
Yeah.
if that's the character type.
I
And then we can
kind
get into
of
it.
like.
Oh, also depending on the myth, her father is either Uranus or Zeus.
Oh, interesting.
Depending.
Yeah.
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 Aphrodite.
There's something I do like the idea of like almost being like a Cupidish kind of like matchmaker person
Yeah.
who like who maybe like either I don't know if I want to make her like a shapeshifter or if I would want to make her like just basically like connected to that flock.
Yeah.
But like
There's endless options, because if it doesn't fall within one of the mantles that's there, like
You could make up. Oh, you're gonna be playing this person.
yeah,
she's thinking of like playing
like
something
as a character,
in-
just like
so like, are you thinking like priestess of this whatever religion? Are you thinking like just somebody who is like a follower of it, who has some kind of power, like a regular person, a supernatural?
yeah, that's
Think about that, and then like
uh-huh.
while you're thinking about that,
A
like,
puppy style reincarnation of.
yeah, like what type of characters are you guys thinking? And like, could be anything, could be connected to something that we already have, could be connected to nothing, could be literally anything at all.
I was kicking around the idea of a silicomancer,
Sand, and
a
glass.
sand and glass. So
Basically
like a
like
glass.
a desert wizard.
Yeah, a glass blowing, like hippie desert wizard.
I like that. So you were thinking the focused
Practitioner.
practitioner who has the. I like that.
I mean, that was just one idea.
yeah. Would you like what kind of person? Like, just a general like? Is he just kind of like minding his own business and gets pulled into things, or like has a purpose?
I think he could be going to college there.
Yeah. Getting a liberal arts degree.
Yeah, but like he's like 35 or 40.
Oh, he's like going back.
He's going back to school after like doing the whole live in the bus circuit, like going around
There probably are
following
like
fish or
big
whatever.
glass blowing like
I know.
that's probably a thing, but it would likely be a thing in like an experimental college or community college.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
yeah.
Yeah. The other part of this is so we kind of like make the characters, and then we do a similar thing of like we go around and like, okay, you figure out how your character's connected to you, and yours to you, and then yours to you, and like
I ate them all. I really wanted more.
oh, I thought you were saying that's
Oh,
what the
you-
connection was.
Oh yeah, I ate all of
I
them.
ate all of your characters.
I am Uranus, and
Okay.
then you cut off my balls to create effort. And
Yeah.
So okay,
Sounds good.
So yeah, that sounds right. Sarah, did you have
It was
any
Christ.
like thoughts on like a type of a mortal or a supernatural or anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I could kind of go either way. I
Was
guess
there like a faction that like jumped out at you, or like any ideas that we've bandied about that like put something in your head?
I want to be a sun devil.
Get out of here. Let me.
Good. It's within the rules that you certainly could.
You could.
I could.
Or just something
I
that
like.
Arizona pun makes you think of. 'Cause I think that's what made you think of a Silicomancer. Is just like,
Yeah, I was like a
what
desert.
kind of wizard would be in Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Arizona makes me think of the Red Rocks in Sedona, but that's far away from Tempe.
You also don't have to be un-Arizonan. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's also people move all the time.
Yeah.
not in this world. They
Not in
don't.
this world.
Not
According to the books, they do not move.
people do not move.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
And also, don't feel like you like the
According
way.
to the books, you can only move if your house burns down.
Right. The like regular person stuff in this game, they made it pretty interesting. Where like everything has its own mechanic. Where like if you're like just a person who knows stuff about the supernatural, you have like these boxes you can check to like power like stunts that let you like get bonuses because you've like done research and learned about stuff.
To have like, stuff to overcome something's damage reduction.
If you're like a criminal, you have like this bar of like heat with the police that you can like use to. So there's like it's they made it pretty interesting to even if you don't
Even
have
if you
powers.
to just play like a human.
Yeah.
But you don't have, and like there's also a thing of like if you're a shapeshifter, you're also some kind of human. So like you're not just like a werewolf. You're a werewolf journalist.
Yeah.
Like you can have multiple mantles in that way, also.
Okay,
For some
cool.
things,
I
like
kind of
with Changeling, I think, too.
changeling and like yeah.
I kind of would like to play a shapeshifter. I've never done one before in a Dresden game, so and I like. I think it would be interesting to play something that's like constantly being hunted in this scenario.
So would you want to? Do you think you would want to be connected to that like group that is forming in some way, or do you think you would be like your own
Probably.
thing? You could even,
Yeah.
if you wanted to, be the person who is organizing that. Like, that is,
I'm thinking that my character would not be connected to that group, but would be able to have an in if I wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah,
join
yeah.
the group
Of
because
course.
just because, but kind of like
you're one of them,
yeah,
but you're not one of them.
yeah. I'm not. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you think like? So, are you thinking like were creature? Like
Yeah.
you like have you're just a were something.
Aware something. Yeah, that feels very Arizonan to me.
Well, that was just touching my girlfriend's arm.
Because I'm biting my
no.
nails again.
Touching.
A reminder.
No, I thought there was something on her arm.
Oh no, yeah, a big old
Get it
spider.
out
I thought it was you.
Nice. It was me.
So the way like where creatures work in this is kind of cool, where you basically just like you are aware something, probably one thing, though I think you could ostensibly like spend a stunt to like have another form. Like if you wanted to be able to turn into different things. I'm very curious to know.
Yeah,
what
what's going on?
I just came up with a really stupid name for this character.
okay.
It's Phil Paschetti.
Why?
It's his last name. It's an Italian last
He
name.
hates it.
Paschetti.
That's very funny.
No, he constantly is trying to get people to call him a nickname that I haven't decided yet.
Sketty.
Sketto. The Paskeleton. So the way shapeshifting works in this for a were creature is like you have basically like a condition that is like turned into a this.
Yeah.
And what it does is you have like your approaches, which are like force and flare, blah blah blah, and you swap. You make two swaps when you turn into a creature that are like predetermined.
Okay.
So like if you turn into like a bear, it's like
Sure, you don't want to be a 1%er?
oh well, just like you're
that is
so
very
rich.
funny,
that
yeah.
you're, well, that's the other thing with a were creature is you also have a human.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm trying to get to that.
But so basically, like if you're turned into a bear, maybe like you have a high haste as a person, and you switch that into force as a bear.
Okay, yeah,
And instead
yeah.
of having a high like focus as a person, you switch that into force or haste, or like you get two swaps. Basically.
Okay. To switch something that would make more sense as a human aspect to be
Exactly. You have what you are as a
Yeah.
person, and you switch things to be more of that. And you also get the benefit of scale. Scale is like a concept of like relative power to things. So like a person compared to a god, like even if they're like both at +3 on something, the god is still vastly more powerful.
Yeah.
So they have like scale where like if you are higher on the scale, you get bonuses.
Okay.
And were creatures, like you get a step up on the scale for anything you would be better at a human
Yeah.
than, and a step down at anything.
So
you
I
would be
have it
worse.
here.
Yeah.
What's can you look up what Arizona's like state mammal is?
I can. While he's doing that, I can tell you what, because we were looking at this.
Okay.
What animals are prevalent in Arizona?
Yes.
Well, are you thinking like mammal? Are you thinking like reptile? What are you thinking here?
Ooh.
Bird, mammal?
I could be a snake.
A snack?
A snake?
They've got rattlers. They've got coral snakes. They've got sidewindos.
It's like windows.
One that I thought
Then
was
you can only move sideways.
exactly.
That's
One
true.
that I thought was funny was a bighorn sheep, which is not a bad like combat form.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Arizona state animal is the ringtail cat.
The ringtail cats are like mountain lion-y.
Oh.
They look really small.
They're smaller, but they're vicious. They're
Okay.
like polecats.
They're like
Oh.
they look like raccoons.
State bird is the cactus wren.
Nice. Okay.
State fish is the Arizona trout.
You could be an Arizona trout.
Guys, I have to find water.
And the question is, do you want to be like a were creature who turns into one thing back and forth, or if you wanted to be more of like a skin changer, if you wanted to be like more close to that idea of like it can turn into a bunch of things,
Yeah, I
you
think
could spend points of your character to have different forms.
I think I would rather just have one
yeah.
form, only because that makes me feel like it feels like this group that's targeting shapeshifters is like against this thing that they think is like in people's
and you're
control.
kind of getting caught in the crossfire.
and I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
there isn't a stunt that allows you to get additional forms.
There's not, but like I don't
But
see
you
why you
could, yeah.
couldn't, because it's not more powerful. It's just more versatile.
Mhm.
Yeah.
a bighorn sheep.
That's
Or-
very funny.
They're
Yeah.
pretty threatening, I would say. Like
Yeah,
they're,
well,
they're
'cause
not
They can
aggressive.
like dent
but,
a
like,
car.
Yeah.
There
Well-
are coyotes. There are.
Are there lobos? Los lobos?
I think there's black bears. I think we saw.
I
there
think
were
we
black
saw
But
them in,
desert
like, northern.
wolves?
I
No,
don't
not
think
desert
so, no.
wolves. No.
That's
prairie
that's
dogs,
farther down in.
Or some mountain lions.
mountain lions, birds of prey, bats, owls.
Kinds of stuff.
You could also be anything if you're not from.
Yeah, you could be
there.
from somewhere else. Like if there's just an animal that you want to be, like great.
So yeah, so what the thing
I'm-
actually says, the
Okay. I'm thinking that as a human, I want to be an
So-
employee at a Cold Stone.
Yeah.
okay.
So I was trying
No.
to think of something that would be okay.
So you're gonna have like a
Something that would be funny for that.
Okay, so you have like a little checkbox, and you mark it when changing into your animal. Clothing and belongings on your person do not change with you.
Yeah, you have to take a stunt to be able to change your stuff with you,
Okay.
Yeah, to just like
including just like items.
yeah,
Yeah.
Otherwise, my clothes get ruined.
or you
Just
take
they
them off.
Yeah.
like slough off of you.
Yeah.
It depends. Yeah, if you get bigger, they would be ruined.
Yeah.
Elk style. But if you get smaller,
There are elk also. I think I saw there are elk
Yeah.
in Arizona, which is another decent.
So you swap the rating of any two approaches with any two other approaches.
Yep.
You gain all the inherent abilities of that animal, which may confer automatic success on certain rolls. For example, if you're a bird, you can fly,
Yeah.
so you can go over obstacles. However, you also gain their inherent limitations, such as not having thumbs or being able
or
to
being
speak.
able to speak. You can take a stunt later to be able to like communicate simple like one-word things with anyone who knows you're a shapeshifter.
I think that's a core thing.
Oh, is it a core thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, and then the last thing that you get is you benefit from scale when using your animal form
Yeah.
to exceed human capabilities.
Yep.
You already went over that while I was reading.
Yeah,
this.
and then core stunts, you can talk to any animal of the same type.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, as long as they know you're a were creature, they can understand simple one-word concepts.
Yeah.
And then there's other stuff you can take later. Like, healing transformation, like you recover conditions when you turn back or things like that.
Yeah.
So your flesh is already being.
Or like add bonuses to when you swap your approaches, you like take a stunt to like just add 1 to one of those approaches when you're in the form.
Because you're better at being.
You're just like a big bear instead of a regular bear.
Oh, once per session, garner the aid of an animal or group of animals of your type.
Yeah, just like summon more animals to like come help you.
Choose
That's
one of the
cool.
following benefits: +4 to any one action, a situation aspect with 2 free invokes, or an automatic success on an overcome roll.
So I'm torn right now, and maybe you guys can help me make this decision between being a bighorn sheep and being a snake, which are very different.
Both good.
Both good. Both
Yeah.
interesting.
But as a ram, you're like a heavy hitter.
As a ram, you're a heavy hitter. As a snake, you probably, like if you're a poisonous snake, I assume we can like put something in that would give you some kind of poison.
Right,
somehow,
right.
maybe
And
for
I would
extra.
maybe be able to maneuver around people better, but also be...
Yeah,
You'd
and
be-
get into small spaces.
Basically, you're like, the question is like, do you want like a combat form or like a form that can kind of defend itself but is more like sneaky weaky?
Sneaky
Snaky wakey, sneaky weaky.
Snake.
wakey, wakey, snakes and bakey.
Oh my
Eggs
god.
and snaky.
That's
Eggs and snake.
Yeah, so I don't know. They're both good. They're both different. Like I would
Desert
assume-
foxes.
Desert foxes. I would assume the bighorn sheep you would like probably switch something to like force.
Yeah,
Because
well,
you
it
can-
would be very difficult to do that in
and maybe
like
like haste
Guile.
because like they're pretty quick. I would
Flare.
say. Or like
Oh yeah. Do you want to? We can go over the. Oh, they're right there. They're on there. I don't need
Yeah.
to find
Oh yeah, so the approaches, this is just game stuff. So these are the approaches, and this is kind of, it's different than stats, in that stats are like strength, just how strong you are generally, and like what are you, and this is more like how do you do things.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
different from old Dresden, which
It's
was
different than-
specific
Yes.
things.
So this
Yeah.
is like,
weapons.
flair is like
You-
doing things flashy big, you want to get noticed.
Right,
Focus is like taking your time to do it right the first time. Force is like
You're
using
just-
your force, which
you're
is both
just big-
strength
big
and
muscle.
like mental force. So like casting a spell to like shoot
Oh,
someone
okay.
with fire could be force.
Yeah, or it could be
Or
guile.
it could be a lot of things. Yeah. Guile is like lying or misleading or like being
Sneaky.
or tricky or any. Haste is like doing something quickly or speed in general or just trying to do something fast. And then intellect is like thinking it through and trying to like devise
Logic.
the best plan, logic. So you'll have stats in all of those, but that's and you can kind of do like the classic of like there's a locked door. How do you get through it? It's like okay, well I'm gonna use force and kick it down.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna focus and lockpick it and like get it exactly right.
Or guile.
Or or guile, very possibly.
Either or, yeah.
Or like focus. I'm gonna take the time to like unscrew each hinge and like just like kind of take like an hour to
Yeah,
get this
yeah.
door up. Or flair could be kicking a door in and like
Mhm.
saying like kicking it in and be like here I am.
Yeah.
Like
Haste could be kicking a door.
haste could be kicking a door. Intellect could be
Kicking a door in with your head.
Well-
What
the
we
door.
were thinking about it was
Sinking the door.
well, intellect would be you could break down a door with intellect, but it would be about like using leverage.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I have a crowbar and I know exactly where to do this, and pop the door right
Yeah,
up.
and there's like, there might be like consequences for how you do something, for like which approach you choose. It might be more difficult to do it certain ways. There might be like, using flair is loud,
Yeah.
and like using force is loud, but like it might be easier one way, it might be harder, and so there's just lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, well why don't you think for a minute too, and let's go back. Well, we've kind of got general ideas for
Sure.
everything. So think about which one, or any animal, because like
Yeah, just any animal.
any animal.
Yeah, yeah.
Like-
Sasquatch, Chupacabra.
Oh my gosh.
Any real
A were Chupacabra.
A were-quatch.
A were-jackrabbit.
giant
Jackrabbit's
jackrabbit.
also
A giant jackrabbit.
Uh,
Very funny.
but like were-jackrabbits, like just crazy fast.
Or jackalope.
And sneaky. Well,
Are those...
sorry,
a
we
thing?
decided for you, jackalope.
Oh, okay.
The fake animal that doesn't exist.
Well,
Well,
or
Does
does it?
or armadillo. A wermadillo.
Where
They're very good at digging.
They're very good at digging.
very good at being a bowling ball.
And having
They're
leprosy.
very good at haste.
Having leprosy.
They are very good at it.
They're not good at haste because they don't roll into a ball
No.
and roll like Sonic. If that's what you're gonna say, they
So
don't
that's
do
good.
it.
They don't do it? They don't. What if they're on a hill?
That's different.
They're just like a big roly-poly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they're ancient arthropods.
Are they really?
Roly
No.
Oh,
Armadillos not.
I was like, wait a
Those are
minute.
mammals, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
yeah,
mammals.
they just have hair on the bottom.
Oh, just on the
That's where
bottom.
their hair is.
That's so weird.
They're super weird. But
And
they're great.
are there plates, outgrowths of spine like a turtle's
I
are?
think it's hard skin.
It's just kind of thick skin. It's like a thick
Interesting.
skin, and they've got hair on it and stuff, so it's
Yeah.
still a.
I have leprosy.
I could never eat at an armadillo Willie's.
Oh my
If I
god,
was-
What?
my cousin! It was
If I
like
was
a
a
Mexican
werewolf.
place.
Yeah, armadillo Willie's.
But they
Yeah.
they don't serve armadillo.
No, God, no! It's
They have
they're like
leprosy.
endangered.
Yeah.
They have leprosy.
Yeah.
My cousin's graduation party was, I think, Armadillo Willie's catered it.
Silly. Silly Willy. So you were thinking, so we'll go back around the circle now. You were thinking you want to be connected to Eros or Aphrodite. Do you have
Yeah.
any more concrete thoughts on that? Of like, what type do you like, what type of character that might be?
Yeah, I still don't, I'm not sure what kind of, like, class, as it were, I want to be, like,
Quick mantle, please.
mantle.
want it?
Because I do also like
get back to-
Yeah, if you're done.
the werebird thing, but I don't want to step on
Yeah.
Sarah's stuff. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I know personality-wise, I almost want to kind of go for like a character who's like a wedding planner, or like something along those lines, where like that's what she
A
like.
matchmaker.
Yeah,
You
where
keep-
she's
you
like.
keep saying matchmaker, which
Yeah.
like feels like that's what you're like specific. Like that's the word I keep hearing.
Yeah,
from you.
I think that's kind of what she like, because I think she is kind of like following like either Eros or Aphrodite,
Yeah.
as far as like just trying to get people together and
Like
like,
a neo-pagan.
like a
Do
little
you
bit.
think? Do you think she like? So here's a couple of questions. Do you think I'm saying she because I'm assuming, but
Yeah,
it
that's what
by
I-
no means needs to be a she.
I think that's what I'm leaning.
Do you think that she is part of the organization of religion of whichever god? Like she is like a member of an organized religion, or she is just like I
Neo-pagan,
personally.
yeah.
Does she like personally worship Eros or Aphrodite, or does she like? Is she part of the church of Eros and Aphrodite?
Like a proper priestess.
The
with
question
right-
is like, is she a priestess or is she somebody who has a shrine at home? Like that's the
I
question.
think,
guess.
I think, and maybe I'm just kind of like, I'm just like hashing it out right now.
Sure,
But like,
yeah.
I think like, I almost think there isn't like an organized
Yeah.
cult anymore, and so she's still like communing with that goddess, but it's more of a like an at-home religion.
So
where
maybe
it's, like,
she's like
not,
the
like-
last priestess of Aphrodite.
Yeah.
Like there is no religion of this anymore, or not Aphrodite necessarily, but
Yeah.
like this is like an old god who like kind of doesn't have a church anymore.
Yeah,
and
like-
so you are the church, maybe.
Yeah, like it's not like they don't have a bunch of meetings. Like they just kind of like, if there are worshippers of Aphrodite, they're just kind of like, well, this is personally what I'm doing, and like,
Gotcha. So she's
Like the
on.
people who worship Bast.
Yeah,
nowadays.
yeah.
yeah.
So she's on her. She is her own religion essentially, for all intents and purposes. So that's the question one, and then question two: do you think she has some kind of like connection to Aphrodite that gives almost like supernatural ability?
I
Do you
think
think she
so.
has actual like powers based on Aphrodite?
Yeah, I think she does, and I think that ties into the lovebirds somehow.
Okay, so like what type of powers do you
Familiar.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it might be like she just has this flock that like she controls in a way like that's like, I don't know.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
type of powers do you think she has then? If
Um,
she's like, well, I guess also Eros or Aphrodite, because that does change. Is it like the love and war, or just the straight up like desire?
Well, not the Eros. I don't believe.
He's just love. I assume
Because of
Ares.
Ares?
Ares is
I mean, there's definitely the iconography of war.
yeah. So like either one, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I almost think she's doing like I just imagine she's doing kind of the modern version of what Eros is doing, only it's like birds instead of arrows. Where it's just
sexual
like,
attraction.
Is Eros
The god of desire, sexual desire and attraction.
Oh, I assumed that was Aphrodite.
she probably encompasses a lot more. Like
Yeah. I
because
think
usually
so.
the
There's
kids are
romance.
like
Gotcha.
subsections of
Gotcha.
Because the
gotcha,
Greek
gotcha.
have like 6
goddess
different
of
types
love, beauty, pleasure, and procreation.
Gotcha.
Yeah, where I kind of picture her like almost like using the birds to like meet cute people.
That is almost
like in
Cupid-y.
that kind of like it's like that kind of
Because you
thing,
could
I
be a
think.
Cupid worshiper, which is very funny. Also.
Yeah, yeah. Where it is just kind of that.
So you think you have like, you think this character would have like powers that specifically involve like bringing people together?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe there is like kind of a custom mantle that's almost like a scion of Aphrodite or whoever. That like maybe it has like the same like 5 boxes that everything else has, and those represent like your connection with the goddess. And you have like a couple of stunts that are similar to like criminals have or something that let you like check a box to do something.
So let's look at the scion and see what it.
I don't think there is a scion specifically.
Well,
'Cause there
what
wasn't.
what if it's like the Knight of Fairy essentially? That seems like something that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Look this up. This is good. This is good television. I got sniffly all of a sudden. Sorry, microphone.
Yeah, I almost think like maybe her like abilities are something along the lines of like
She's like drawing power from.
drawing power from the god or goddess, and stuff like being able to tell if these people could be a match essentially in the
Right,
first
right,
place,
right,
like
right,
where
right.
it's not even like
She's not forcing.
she can't match any two people, you know.
She has to find the right match. Hello. Brand's getting a call from the god of fairies.
Yeah, he has to take it.
So the Knight of the Fairy Court has.
I'm looking at University of Arizona because I'm thinking that I actually want to be a bobcat
oh,
or
yeah.
a wildcat, but they are also the mascot of University of Arizona, which I think is in a big rivalry with Arizona State.
Yeah.
And but I would, as a bobcat, I would be illegal to trap, touch, or catch by humans.
You can't touch me. I'm a bobcat.
Yeah, yeah, because
Officer?
they're endangered.
Officer, I am a bobcat. You cannot touch me.
Officer, you cannot arrest
It would
me.
be funny if you were a student at Arizona State and like turned into a bobcat, but like you hated it because you had so much school spirit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I turned into a rival school's mascot. Ugh.
Just my luck.
So the Knights of the Fairy Court, we were saying, is like probably a good analog, and they have something called Winter or Summer Power, and it's 5 checkboxes. Check one of this condition's 5 boxes to use the well of power granted to you by your mantle, as described in your stunts. Recover fully at the end of any scene in which you don't use any of the power. Is how that specifically is, though we don't necessarily have to. Condition may also be utilized to create an approach with a bonus equal to the number of unchecked boxes usable towards any action. That seems like too much. That's like a powerful thing that doesn't seem to fit.
Wait, what was
It's
it?
basically like you can give yourself a bonus equal to however many boxes you don't have checked on just a thing, which is like
Do you have to check a box to do it?
nope.
Oh,
Some of these are very powerful.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then and there's also a condition called disfavored, and it's like if you break the tenets of your faith or whatever, in this case break the tenets to the fairy realm, you no longer have access to your powers till you go and atone somehow.
Yeah, and they usually make you do something
Right.
without your powers.
Exactly. So the stunts that are here listed are things like mark a box of the summer power to add 1 to any action in which brute strength or sheer speed is requisite. So like
So you-
basically switch that to like
Guile or
guile or
focus or
something, yeah. And we don't have to do exactly these, but like
yeah.
and then there's like
Flair.
magic where
Flair.
you can just do like magic by checking off a box is what. But basically, like what we would do is we would have those boxes. We'd figure out a couple of like powers you'd want, and you power those by checking the boxes. And if you've used them all up, you don't get any more till you like take some time without doing it, and then like your like well of faith or whatever, or your connection to the goddess is restored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the question is like, what type of things you want to do?
Yeah.
Stunts. So the way stunts, like making stunts works, and this can be for everybody because everybody can make stunts for their own stuff too, is basically you're either giving yourself a bonus when you take an action, like when you do a specific action with a specific approach in a specific situation, which is, and the actions are like attack, defend, make an advantage for yourself, or overcome something.
Yeah, and
Overcome
so
is like-
advantage is basically put an aspect on the scene,
Or give an already there aspect a free invoke to like give yourself bonuses. And overcome is like try to unlock the door. Use a skill basically.
well, it's also like overcome negate an aspect that someone else or
Right, which
something
you would
else.
do
Yeah,
with like a skill check or a
got
focus.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, taking one of those actions, using a specific approach in a specific circumstance. So like one of the examples is like, I'm a cop with a riot shield, so I can, when I defend with force against gunfire, I have a +2 bonus.
Okay, yeah.
Or
yeah.
like, I am like, I know how to use my wits in the underworld, so I get +2 to when I attack with guile when I'm conversing with criminals. Like that type of thing is fun. So you can do that type of thing with stunts. You can
Should I go to the stunts section?
sure, you can do that type of thing with stunts. You can give yourself a new way to use your focus, your approaches. So like an example of that is like, I am like, again, like known in the underworld. So if I can make attacks with flair to just basically like get people to back down because of the force of my personality.
Okay.
Where you couldn't necessarily just attack with flair anytime,
Unless your name is Rick.
unless your name is, you can just always, something like, I can always do this.
So yeah, so the three things are provide a situational bonus, which was the first one, riot shield example. Then create a rules exception.
Yep.
So that's like well connected as an example. I'm well connected. Once per session, I can find a helpful ally at just the right place at just the right time.
Yeah, those are usually like, once a session, I can just say something happens. Or I
Quick
can
on
just
the
do
draw.
something.
I can go first in one physical conflict. First.
I think the last one was just, I can show up anywhere once a session because I run so fast.
Oh, it was once per session, I can show up anywhere I want to, provided it would be possible to run there no matter where I started.
Yeah.
I think like well connected is probably going to be something that I will definitely have as a wedding planner.
Yeah.
I almost think like that's how I know him too, because like I think I could have him do all my centerpieces.
Yeah,
Like,
custom
that's, like-
centerpieces.
like those like custom glasses. Like that's a good like.
So the last one is the custom action.
Oh, I love those ones. That's so funny.
Known among gangsters is I can attack minor NPCs with flair and apply the strength of my reputation to influence them into backing down, even in the midst of a physical conflict.
Yeah, you turn it into an attack with flair just all the time.
Oh yeah,
The
one of the
second
main
is so
differences is that there aren't different stress pools.
Oh yeah, you just have.
So it used to be in old Dresden, it was
Yeah.
like a physical one, a social one, or whatever, which I really like because it used to be like, if you were a social combatant and people are shooting, like
You don't.
the damage doesn't stack, so you
Right.
can't put them out until
Yeah.
political connections. Because I possess political connections, I can take an overcome action with focus to have the local legislature
Oh, yeah,
pass
that's
a law that works to my advantage. A failure results in a serious cost, whereas a tie causes a minor cost or benefit mitigation. If I succeed with style, I receive a boost when I first take advantage of the new law.
That one is so funny to me.
Is very, very funny.
So I guess let's go back around the circle for now. And what you should be doing for now is think of like what type of like, if you want supernatural abilities, let's think of like they'll be your core stunts for this mantle of scion of, whatever, of priestess of whatever.
So are we like merging basically focus practitioner and fairy?
What I think for this one is because for the the Knights of the Fairy, basically everybody has like 2 stunts that are just like the core things that you can do because you are
that's
this
what you're
thing.
talking. Got it.
So I think for you, these are the stunts that they don't cost anything, or these are the things that you'll spend your boxes to do. So just for now, we'll go back around. Think of 2 things that you would want to be able to like supernaturally do, that are strictly on theme of being the priestess of love or whatever. And think of those, and then when we come back around, we'll make those into your core stunts, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, like the
So, should mine be in?
yours should be the shapeshifter one.
Yours are a little more defined.
Yeah.
Because shapeshifters are already a specific mantle.
Yeah.
You'll get to make tab extra ones.
Yeah.
And we can have those be whatever we want. But shapeshifter is a little more, it already has its core stunts listed out.
Yeah.
And some extra ones as well.
I can take, it says to start by taking any of the pure mortal mantles of my one of my choosing.
So
and
that
then
is something too.
So I can do that.
So you should think of like what type of person you want to be also just as a person.
Yeah.
There's an example in the book that's like, I'm a werewolf, but I'm also a monster hunter. Just a person who hunts monsters because I like guard the streets as a werewolf.
Yeah.
So that's her mortal mantle, is monster hunter.
Like
Yeah.
Billy Borden.
Yes. But there's also, doctor or medic.
Yeah, there's a medic
journalist,
one.
There's wealthy person. There's,
Yeah.
There's and then there's baseline
Cop.
Cop.
Criminal.
There's criminal. There's baseline clued in mortal who's just like, I'm someone who knows about the supernatural, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
But that has its own abilities.
Yeah,
and
that lets you.
it's kind of a general like I know monster stuff, but I can leverage that knowledge.
yeah.
So yeah, think about like what type of actual person you are on top of being a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Let's
The Earl King has 3.
has 3 stunts.
Yeah.
Some are a little. I think we can start with 2. And then,
Yeah, but they're like okay. They're like one of them is like only about the Accords.
yeah.
So it's like okay.
So let's go back to
me?
Fred Paschetti.
Phil
Paschetti.
Phil Puskey.
Phil Paschetti.
Phil Paschetti. I hate it.
I know, me too.
In a good way.
I need to come up with this stupid nickname that he's trying to make.
So
The Glass Man.
the glass, Mr. Sand. Mr. Sand.
The Sandman.
You mean the Sandman? No.
No.
Sandmeister?
Sandmeister. The Sandblaster.
Oh my god.
The Phil Sander.
The,
Phil Sanders.
that also is very
You
funny.
can't have sand in your name. You're not allowed.
Okay.
I won't allow it.
Too
Phil
dumb.
Silica.
Fidget Head. I
Sandra
believe.
Day.
One of the
What?
people in the chat is suggesting Fidget Head.
Fidget Head's a good.
So for
Wait, what does that other one say? I'm
I'm not
Who knows?
Sure. I think that guy's out of the chat now.
okay.
So for Sand Filbo, the Fidget Head.
Filbo Sandins.
Filbo Sandin, the Fidget Head. So he's a focus practitioner. So yours is a little more easy to fill out too.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So things you should add under conditions. You're gonna add another box for exhausted.
A single box for
A single box for exhausted, which doesn't have a number in it. And then another single box for burned out. And that's, those can be there. You could also
not under stress, right?
No,
It's
no.
under this side on this.
Right, like these are just like, and these are similar to like the check boxes, but this is like, when this is checked, it is your condition.
She has like 5 boxes in order to do more minor abilities, and mine are like a single box to do like one crazy thing.
Yes. And yours are similar to Sarah's, where Sarah's will have one that says shapeshifted.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
whenever you're in that form, it's checked,
It's
and when you come
checked.
out, it's that. Where yours is like, once it's checked, you've got to actually recover from
And
it.
do stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna, as I understand it, I have one approach and action. So like a force attack or whatever that I can do as much as I want without taking stress.
Yep.
And then I have an exhausted one that's like either a more powerful version of that or something entirely different that is more powerful than that. And the burnt out is like the superpower explosion. You know, like a nuclear going nuclear.
Answer your question, Low 505. It is a mostly human city. In fact, it's Tempe, Arizona, is where we're setting this in the real world.
In the real world.
So let's figure those out. So you have your magical talent, which is like your baseline. This is like your core thing. So this is specifically a combination of an approach or an action that gains the benefit of supernatural scale, and you can do anytime you please. So yeah, it's either an attack, a defense,
An overcome.
or create an advantage with an approach that is somehow magical. Oh, don't be sorry. We didn't say it recently. You're good.
No.
I mean, be sorry.
No,
No. So like, what type of thing are you envisioning? Are you thinking
So I think
sand and glass is your...
yeah. So he can only do sand or glass and maybe quartz.
Yeah.
Because it's made of, it's natural
Yeah.
crystalline glass. So I think he has like
Well,
a
it's
big
not
quartz.
Well,
It's crystalline.
yeah. Glass is not crystalline.
No, it's
But it's like
amorphous.
sand. It's like
Yeah.
worked sand,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
I think
It's silicon
close
dioxide.
It's
Yeah.
like well, because I mean he's like a kind of fish head kind of guy.
he's a fidget head.
He's a fidget head. That's what I meant to say. No, he's like like a hippie dude. So
Yeah.
crystals. He loves crystals.
And you're thinking he's like a 35-year-old going back to school student at ASU. Great.
Yeah. He's probably lived in the area for a bit, and he has his glass studio. But he's
Yeah.
like started.
But he's getting. What do you think he's going back to learn?
Oh, good point.
Chemistry.
Because this could be something that as you learn
Material
it could be a
science.
mantle you add.
That's
Because you can add to your, like, if he was going back to like, no, I'm gonna go to medical school now, because now like
Yeah.
you could slowly add like stunts from being a doctor. Like, things like
interesting. What if he's trying to do holistic like?
that. Holistic medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
no.
it's something that's just like it's a choice, and it doesn't matter now. But maybe as it progresses, and you actually,
I'll think about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to be like a homeopath kind of guy.
So-
Chiropractor.
So,
Oh, no.
what do you think? What do you envision being his like go-to like magical trick?
Illusion, Michael. No, I think it's probably something.
Just shoots shards of glass.
I thought about like something that he did like when he was scared one time.
Yeah.
Like something jumped out at him and he like shattered all the lights in all the light bulbs and the things just broke.
That's an interesting. Like that could be like your. Well, so you could approach that in a couple of different ways. If that was your basic thing, like you like shattered glass in the area,
Yeah.
it could be a thing like that is your create an advantage.
Oh yeah, that there's just broken glass
It's
everywhere.
like you use force to create an advantage of, or like and put an aspect of like shattered glass that you get to invoke once for free. Like that's
Interesting.
That's an option, or it could be a thing of like that's your
Or just like a sand attack, where he's just
a
like
attack.
just like shoots sand
It's
at
all
people.
valid, yeah. Or like a thing where you blind people with sand and you create an advantage of blinded.
Or you just unconvert glass into sand and just like
almost anything. You like
Interesting.
shoot a big rock at someone. Mm.
So
You turn yourself into sand to defend yourself.
like Sandman from
You defend with intellect by like turning your body parts into sand.
or
I just like the idea that you turn yourself into sand, but it's not like being blown anywhere, so it's just a pile of sand.
like wet sand.
Goodbye.
It's just like quickly, like somebody like stabs you in the arm, and you're just like, poof, sand, reform.
that's awesome.
Like that could be it. Like the example in here is like a clairvoyant is the example that they use.
Yeah.
And the basic one is that you defend with intellect because you can see moments ahead into the future.
Oh, just permanently.
Permanently, like you always have the option to defend with intellect every time you need to defend
Got
because
it.
you saw it a second in advance. So that could be like a similar.
I think it's going to be focus based
Yeah.
because you like as a glass blower, you have to be like
Yeah.
very careful about not
Yes.
touching certain things
Yes.
and so like a focus base
Defense, attack, create an advantage, or overcome. Overcome feels a little less easy to do this with because
Yeah.
it's like you're trying to overcome something specific, and that feels hard to.
Well,
play
I was
for.
thinking for my burned out ability that he like basically summons a haboob, I guess, or like a sand, like basically a sand tornado, basically that plucks him and his friends up and like
for your
gets them out of
ability?
there. Yeah,
I think that's a great.
it just like all the sand like suddenly tornadoes
That's
and they're just
exceptional.
like whoom,
It's
gone.
basically like you can mark burned out to
Mhm.
like once per session, like basically concede a conflict on your terms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's perfect. Does
Or
that seem... Okay.
it's either that or I also thought about him doing like sort of a ways going into the Never Never by like making intricate glass gates that he can use once. So if he like made a teleport amulet. Like he has like a glass thing and he just like break in case of
I
emergency.
would say if you wanted that, like that could almost be your mark exhausted condition because like it's not crazy to be able to enter into like the Never Never. The Never
Oh no, I was saying instead of summoning up a big tornado, that
I'm saying if you wanted that, you could have both.
Oh yeah.
Because that's like a less.
I'm just thinking of like what is cooler to what makes more sense with him. Whether it's like he summons up a huge tornado to physically get everyone, or if he has like this intricate glass necklace that he's just like break in case of emergency, like smashes it on the ground and it's just
I
like
don't know. The tornado is so funny.
that's very funny. Yeah,
and like cool.
Okay,
You know,
sure,
it's
sure.
cool. They're both good.
sure. Yeah, I like that.
There's something about like being able to use glass in a very hot, sunny environment to like either burn people or like
Oh,
prism
like
kind of
focus.
blinding, like
Oh.
That's interesting.
Blinding or like making like exciting sand to the point where it becomes glass,
yeah.
like
Yeah. Which you
as an attack.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you that could be a focus attack.
Yeah.
You like summon glass to like superheat an area, and it's basically like you're attacking with focus by like literally focusing
Interesting.
like magical glass, like a magnifying glass on ants.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that could certainly be a focus
You require. I was thinking of like literally like liquefying sand into glass, like as people are running at me, just being like, whoop, and then just like into the glass.
I could see that being like your mark exhausted condition.
Yeah.
Where you just like basically magically like shoot out like a field of sand and then like liquefy it. Like it's one
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
So that you don't just have to be in sand
Oh,
to
yeah.
use it.
He just carries around a bag of sand.
Yeah, a big bag of sand.
You don't need that much when it's superheated glass. Like it's like how thousands of degrees,
Yeah,
right?
it's like
Yeah.
thousands of degrees.
Yeah, I mean, but that's just flavor. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
basically like you fill a zone with damage.
Okay.
Like could be like that. type
Okay,
of
so
thing.
I think maybe the basic one is going to be blinding people.
Yeah, so you're creating.
That seems
an
like the
advantage.
lowest power.
Yeah, and that's like, and it's good. You're creating an advantage
Yeah.
you're using that to create an advantage.
Yeah.
So we would phrase that as like you want to be focus. You think basically like you're doing it
Yeah.
by like concentrating.
Yeah, I think that's how he uses his magic.
Yeah. So you're using focus to create an advantage,
Mhm.
and it flavors as you're blinding them. So you'll basically put.
What's the name of that stuff?
Oh, when are we playing our next game?
I think we're going to try for next Sunday, but we'll have to see. We'll figure that out and we'll announce it. If you follow on the channel, we will update that and we'll let you know because we hope you watch. What is that called?
Yeah, what's the ability?
So that's called magical talent.
Magical talent.
All three of these are called magical talent.
Oh, so just the magical talent that I can use all the time.
Yeah.
And then magical talent exhausted, magical talent. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically a stunt with 3 segments.
Talent. Normal. So it's a focus. Focused
to create an advantage.
To create advantage.
And then basically what that'll do is just put an aspect on your enemy of blinded if you succeed on the roll.
Got it.
Which you will get a free tap on, or that you can give to other people.
To someone. Focus advantage to create aspect blinded with one.
And then
free.
basically once he's created that, anyone can. You'll get the free invoke on it, and then anybody can spend a fate point to like use that during an attack, or like
Got it.
use it to screw around with things.
Trip people or whatever.
I think that's a great, cool thing.
Yeah.
So we've got that. We've got your.
There's always sand around too.
Let's look at your exhausted, because once we
Tempe.
get that, you're exhausted and you're burned out.
So magical talent exhausted. That's a focus attack.
Yeah. So this. So basically, the example with this one is mark exhausted to automatically see the most emotionally intense moment in someone's possible future. If you act on that knowledge in this or a future scene, gain +2 to any relevant actions during that scene. So I would say.
So it's because there's a +2. So that's like a +2 for one instance.
For one scene. Because
For
that
one
says
whole
for the rest
scene.
of the scene whenever you act on that. So basically what I would say is maybe that like you fill a zone, because like it goes on zones of the board. You fill a zone with this like molten glass.
That I can use to make attacks for
Then
a
you
whole
can basically
scene.
make attacks on that zone for a whole scene. And the way that if you're attacking an area, or if
Yeah.
you're attacking multiple people, you make one roll and you split it up.
Got it.
So it doesn't move, you just fill one area, one zone with glass.
So I'm like surrounding myself with like a Saturn ring of sand that I'm like tossing off as glass
you
when I
fill-
need to.
And it can only affect things in one area.
Yeah.
But you can, any turn, for the rest of that scene, you can make an attack at that area and split it up between people. And if it, let's say...
Does it affect one scene, or is it in the zone that I'm in? Or I mean, is it the one zone, or is it just the zone that I'm in?
Your call. It wouldn't move with you, I would say.
Okay.
Um,
Got it.
so maybe
For
you can
scene.
do it at range, maybe it has to be with you.
One zone for the scene.
And I think you would just be able to basically make like a focus attack on that zone
With scale.
that you
with
have to
supernatural
split on
scale.
everyone in that zone.
Oh, I have to split it, so I
Or-
can't focus. I can't be like glob of glass at that
I
place.
would say it probably fills a zone. Or it's up to you.
So I was thinking like I'm trying to think of what this looks like. So like I'm going to go D&D with it. Is it
It's up to you what it is.
so remember that spell where you like summon some comets
Yeah.
and you can like shoot them one at a time
So
if
you
want
want to. So you want to be able to just like summon a bunch and just like.
So basically I just dump the sand, like my sand sack. You sand sack. And then it just floats around me like in a
Okay.
like I'm Saturn.
How about this? Here's what I would pitch for that.
Okay.
I'm sorry that.
No,
it's
I'm
okay.
I'm reading through the book.
Here's what I pitch for that.
Mm-hmm.
When you do the ability,
Mm-hmm.
you roll a focus roll,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever, however many shifts you get on that,
That's how many attacks I get.
that's how many attacks you get. Minimum of one.
Yeah.
And all of those attacks, let's say, are focus
Mm-hmm.
attacks with a +2.
Oh, okay.
Because we want to give you a bonus for this also.
Because it's-
otherwise it's just a different type of attack.
Got it.
So however many shifts you get, that's
Well,
how
it's a
many
different type of attack with supernatural
scale.
scale.
But I think still, like, we'll see, because you might just get one,
Okay, yeah.
you know?
So for
does
one
that
scene
sound-
in one zone.
If that's the case, let's get rid of the zone.
Okay,
requirement.
got it. Okay, I'll erase it all. Erase it all.
So basically, once per, or I mean, you just have to mark it. So if you
Mm-hmm.
recover it, you'll. But you immediately make a focus roll,
roll a focus roll.
and you get a number of whatever you want it to be, glass or whatever,
Number of attacks
equal to shifts, minimum 1.
equal to shifts minimum 1.
And then each attack is a focus attack at +2.
Focus attack +2 with supernatural scale.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good.
That's
Like,
very
Yeah.
good.
once per day, like or pretty much
It's
once
not.
per day.
It's
you'll
not
be
once
able-
per day though,
It's
because
not
you
once
have to
per day,
like
but it takes
recover.
time to recover.
Yeah.
So it's like maximum, pretty much once
a
per,
day,
per
yeah.
session, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that feels pretty powerful.
That feels
but it
very
doesn't
powerful.
feel overwhelming
Because I can't do it all the time.
right. It's exhausting.
Yeah,
it's
very
literally
exhausting.
And then the burned out one, if you
your
want,
eraser.
if you want to do that,
Give a sec.
Or can you reach one?
I got it. Or
Here, just take this one. We'll switch.
and the word is haboob, I believe.
Haboob.
Yeah, it's just like a roving desert sandstorm.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
It's an old magic. I got it off an old magic
I
card,
remember it well.
but I remember that it's like
So what I would say for that one, and feel free to interpret this however you want, because this doesn't have to be it, is maybe like it is just like you can mark burned out to get you and your friends, basically every creature you want, to concede the scene on your terms, even if they're already conceded or knocked out.
got it. So I like that.
Yeah, we could like there is a world where there's an option to try to take people who don't want to go.
Okay.
I don't know if you want that. Like, but that's
I
an
mean,
option.
it could come up that I'm like, well, I need to get this thing away from everyone, so I'm just gonna take it with me into the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
So-
It like gets you out, and we can flavor that as like it just gets you out somewhere. Like you get to safety,
yeah.
but it might be like the desert.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It wouldn't be crazy. Like you wouldn't get like out there to die.
Yeah.
But like it wouldn't take you to like a building.
Okay.
Like-
So I can't
Because
really
it is
aim
still a sandstorm. You can kind of like get you out.
Yeah.
and, like, but you can't be like drop me off on the
corner
second
of
floor
7th and
I mean, you seem like a guy who would hitchhike, so it doesn't really.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it could be a thing of like you could try to make like a force roll to take someone with you,
okay.
like an opposed force roll to see if like.
so the base thing is me.
I just want to
and
make sure it's powerful
allies.
because you're marking your burned out.
Well,
because once you use
getting
this
out of a conflict.
is big,
Yeah, if you get jumped by like a whole bunch of vampires.
but I want to give it some versatility because
Got it.
because basically what you're saying is like, well, once I use this for the next session, I don't get to do magic at all.
Oh, can't do magic at
You're
all.
burned out.
Yeah.
You are marking burned out of
Yeah.
magic until you like rest and recover.
Mhm.
And it's basically, I think I'll have to look at the rules, but I think you have to initiate recovery
and then, it takes
play
a
a
whole,
session.
Yeah.
So I want it to be powerful.
So
So-
maybe it's just a haboob that that transports the people I want
All willing,
away,
willing.
unless I make a force roll.
yeah, I think it takes willing people. It takes whoever you choose.
Whoever I choose,
And if they're unwilling, it's a contested force roll.
if willing, and it has to take me, right?
It has to take you,
Okay.
I think.
I can't just Team Rockets blasting off
I don't think it
again.
has to take you. It can take you, but it doesn't have to. You could just say like, because it's such a expense, like
Yeah.
I'm perfectly happy if you want to say like, Haboob, take my enemies away, and it like it you know you'll roll and see if you get to do it.
Yeah.
It's a supernatural scale,
And then rolling
force
to
versus
see
force.
who, yeah,
and like maybe it takes some of them away.
portion away and some of them.
Because you're burning yourself out. Like
Yeah.
this is powerful.
Yeah.
So I think give you that flexibility to use it to escape, to use it to get things out of there, to use it to chase your enemies off, to use it to abduct one person, like and get yourself out of there. Like I think you have those options because you're burning yourself out.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So let's move on to Sarah, and what you should think about in the meantime is take a look at the additional stunts, because you'll also get that's all you get for core. You can choose one
Additional stuff.
additional stunt for free off the list of additional stunts,
Got it.
and then you have 3 refresh, and you can spend 2 of those as you want. So let's go back to Sarah.
And you can use stunts from other places if it makes sense.
If it makes sense, because there is technically, so the milestones are interesting where they do specifically set that out of like,
Yeah.
a minor milestone, you can take another stunt from your mantle or a custom one. And then a major milestone, you can take a stunt from some other mantle.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So
Just keep with my core stunts or make a core stunt
If
that's...
it makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
But if it's outside of your purview,
Yeah.
then maybe hold it off to
I
a
was
major
thinking of
milestone.
maybe getting like the wizard magical item thing.
That I think I'm okay with.
Okay.
Like the like you're a wizard.
I mean,
You're
but
a
it
wizard,
would
Harry.
but would it only be with respect to things that are related to sand. So I would have to like come up with
there's there's not a specific, but like
well, because wizards
get like a magic item.
they get a whole bunch of different things because they have the ability to do a whole bunch of different things. But I'm a one-trick pony.
Yeah, think about. I'm fine having the wizard stuff as long as it falls within your theme. So let's go back to Sarah. So did you think what animal you want to?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a were-bobcat or a werecat.
Very good.
Also known as wildcats.
Go wild. Go cats.
Yep.
Um,
That is what University of Arizona abbreviates their mascot to.
cool. So you are a shapeshifter of a were wildcat, a werecat
Yeah.
of some type.
Yeah, and so it says to choose a pure mortal mantle, and so I'm choosing the reporter.
Great, a werecat reporter.
Yeah.
Yay.
But in this case, I want to be a journalist for the student newspaper at
Perfect.
Arizona
You could
State.
also, like, I don't know, I don't want to force you into this, but you could all be students. Like, that's a funny unifying thing. Like, I don't want to force that, but if you are all, maybe not full-time students, but
Well, I think I'm taking extension.
yeah.
The extension.
But
course.
like maybe that's because we
I
also
can't afford to pay for tuition.
The very last thing we decide is like, what is we actually decide together, like, what is the first scenario? And like,
What if
it's
he's
you're all in class and something like attacks.
Yeah.
What if he's like an associate professor for the arts department?
Yeah.
Great.
you
Who
could
like a local guy who teaches a intro to glass blowing class.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're like a student for like the school paper.
Yeah.
That's very, very, very funny to me.
Arizona State
I know.
University.
Are you at Arizona State?
Yeah.
So it's all Arizona
The
State?
devil rag.
Go Devils
Yep.
and Cats.
Yep. Yeah.
We'll see what their actual.
I have a
school
lot of school pride.
Cool. So, you wrote the box for physical transformation,
Yes.
and you wrote the box for journalist credentials.
Yeah. So do you have to take both? So this has like 2 unique conditions under it. Do you have to take both?
For reporter.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Because they relate to
basically,
each other.
they relate. They are two opposite sides, and one of them will always be marked. That's
Yeah.
true. You either have reporter credentials
Or
or
you
you
don't.
are off the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, like that's I think the interesting thing that they make for reporters is basically like you work for an organization and
The State Press.
is what the name of it.
Yeah.
Good. You work for that journalistic, and so you have to, you have an editor who
Yeah.
has standards that they hold the newspaper to, and you have to meet those by actually doing work and by not doing. They may not be somebody who's interested in the truth, and if you're trying to get the truth out, they may not want that. Like,
Yeah.
so it's not the like hardest hitting of mechanics, but it's still something of like, if you want access as a reporter, you have to like play by the rules, or toe the line, or spend that capital to get what you need, and then deal with the fallout of not having that access anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Cool.
it looks like you already assigned approaches.
Yeah. I
So
was
what did
looking
you-
at. So. Oh no.
It gives you like a 3, 2 2s, 2 1s, and a 0, I think.
Yeah, so I sort of modified the trickster approaches because
And you don't have to follow those.
Yeah,
they're-
You
yeah.
just you get 3 2 2s, 2 1s, a 0. Put them wherever you want.
Right. Well, I imagine because and these approaches can change when I'm in Bobcat form, correct?
Yes, and we should specifically decide that. So when
okay.
you have
Yeah. So
So-
you would do a different
Yeah.
line.
So right now I'm thinking that I'm like a pretty sneaky person.
Yeah.
So I had my highest at intellect, and then my 2 2s are flair and guile.
great. Yeah,
And
so
then-
you're smart. You're a smart person who is like a little sneaky, a little tricky, but also likes making a splash.
Yeah.
Great.
Gotta catch my big break.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
That's funny. Like, that implies that you are almost like that student journalist who is like
Way too into
way too into, who's like, this is a newspaper.
Yeah.
And it
I am here to expose corruption.
No, you're here to report what lunch is tomorrow.
And
That's
You're here
really
to write a puff piece about the new uniforms.
Yeah, that's really
you were
funny.
hired for the comedy column.
If you you want it to be like a real paper.
Yeah, this is
Not that you have to,
this
but
is the
that's-
beginning of my career as a
Yes.
hard-hitting reporter.
That's very funny.
That's great.
Cool. So here's the question: is what two approaches do you think polecat, or what was the cat?
Bobcat.
A ringtail.
Bobcat.
No,
Bobcat.
that's
Bobcat's
it. Those
different.
they are actually not
They're small.
cats. I was looking at the
Well,
thing.
I'm sorry.
They're in the raccoon family.
I see. So, as a bobcat, what do you think you would be particularly good at, as approach-wise?
Would Guile be the closest to like being sneaky?
Guile is sneaky, and keep in mind that you don't have to switch them, because if you already have 2 Guile, so if you want to still have 2 Guile,
Yeah.
great. Like, you could swap Guile for intellect, but also like 2 Guile's pretty good, so you could keep that.
maybe-
and think of other things.
Maybe I'd want to switch like
The question is also what are mountain lions good at?
bobcats.
Sorry.
They
Like,
are.
I'd argue they're pretty forceful.
Yeah.
They're pretty guileful.
Pretty
They're pretty
fast.
hasteful.
Hasteful.
I'd say they're not as big on intellect. Like,
Focus.
they're probably good at focus too.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
stalking prey.
Yeah, they're stalking prey.
So I think
Yeah.
which of those do you want to be
They are tremendously strong and can
very
bring
strong.
down a small deer.
Yeah, they're super strong, super fast, and what you are not in your human form is strong. What you are not is fast.
Yeah.
What you are not is good at focusing. So I would pick 2 of those probably, because I think those are the things that exemplify a mountain lion, but don't exemplify your human form. So that's like
Armadillo cat.
Armadillo cat.
where cam. I'm just gonna say cat.
Yes.
But I'm also just gonna say mountain lion because. So
Mountain cat.
which of those 2 do you want your cat
Oh,
to be
that's
good
hard.
at?
I want all 3.
And later on you'll be able to increase.
That's
certain.
that's true.
At first level, because you get the free stunt, don't you?
Well, I'm saying there's later milestones you can increase your actual approaches.
Oh,
Up
interesting.
to 5.
I guess maybe force would be like the top one to switch.
Though, if you want to be stalking your prey, you can make a focus attack. Really.
Yeah, or a guile attack.
Or a
It's-
haste attack or a guile attack.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
It's less
strong.
crunchy and it's more about how it. So
Yeah.
how Richie described it to me was that you're gonna say what you want to do, and he's gonna say what that sounds like, what approach it would take.
So the question is,
yeah.
are you just going to leap at things and claw at them, or are you going to sneak up and wait for the right moment, or are you going to just run something down, or are you going to
I think
whatever you think is
probably more stalking things and waiting for the right moment too.
Yeah, so maybe you've already got good guile. So maybe instead of force, you want to focus on focus and haste.
Yeah.
Really
So I could-
and don't change those.
I won't. Can I write them next to them, or what do I?
So I don't know how best
How
to
does this
but
work?
basically you're
So
going to
basically what
pick
you would
2 to swap. So
Yeah.
if you want
I
if
see.
you want when you are transformed,
Yeah.
so say maybe instead of intellect you swap your focus and your intellect maybe.
Yeah.
Or your focus
Okay.
or your
Guile.
your haste and your intellect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your guile's already good. You don't really
Yeah.
I'd probably just do a full second column where you've swapped whichever
you could do
ones you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Yeah, that might be
That's
easier.
fine.
That might be easier.
Maybe just to the left.
So I would probably swap maybe my haste and my intellect.
yeah, if you want to be super fast, strike quickly strike and
Yeah.
yeah.
But that means that I'm a real dumb cat.
Yeah, but I think that makes
fine.
you're
Well,
not
yeah,
necessarily you're human. You're
Yeah.
regular person level intelligent,
Yeah.
and you're still smart. It's just you're not as good at planning, maybe.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or that type.
Well,
of thing.
I don't know. I would take like some inspiration from Animorphs, where they talk about
Yeah, the animal instinct is a little more in control.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a great way to look at it. So like, there's that, and then like you get one more swap.
Yeah,
So
I think
maybe
I'm gonna
if you're
do.
gonna go sneaky, maybe take flare.
Yeah, I'm gonna do flare with focus.
Great.
Maybe. Yeah.
And so like, yeah, you're like really like you're waiting for exactly the right moment to strike, and then making that one strike count.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or that's everything. Great. And then everything else is the same.
like all of the ambush predators.
Cool.
Question. Can I? So as a cat,
Yeah.
do I like? And if I learn things or see things as a cat, do I have access to those memories in human
You're
form?
still you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still get all of that. You still know all of that. You also get two stunts specifically core to you. So one is called Beast Whisperer,
Yes.
and it's just you can talk to cats.
Okay.
Just all cats. Let's just
Do
say.
these have like
All
costs?
family mutility.
No. What?
Do these
Yeah,
have
dude.
costs?
These are core, so these don't have a cost.
Okay.
At all.
Well, your core ones don't have a cost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's just that. Yeah. And then the second one's called the Human Touch, and then it's anyone that knows you're a were creature. You can communicate one-word phrases to them.
Okay.
Like simple concepts.
So the last thing you should do, and we'll move on to Brennan now.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing you should do is look at the optional stunts
For
were
where?
creature. Oh, and your journalist stuff. Did we? you got all
Oh
that.
yeah.
Let me make sure you got. all
Okay,
that.
my core stunts are backup, and firearms train. No, that's cop.
No. So okay, journalist favors. So everyone has a I know this is taking longer than.
Oh
but I think we're
no! I'm trying to read the chat.
Oh yeah.
I'm not wearing
Yeah,
my
the
glasses.
options on Dresden Files are so good. Like you can just make anything.
Yeah.
And a fate core.
The new
fate,
the new advanced one is
accelerated.
yeah.
It's interesting because my only experience with RPGs is my first experience was with Dresden and then D&D, and D&D feels so restrictive compared to like
It
just
is. It's structured.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crunchy.
So here's the things you get as a journalist core.
Yes.
Also, these are also core. One is called journalist favors.
Okay.
Mark 2 boxes of indebted with your organization to gain access to a place or person or obtain secret information. Or if you roll for that stuff and fail,
Mm-hmm.
you can mark 2 boxes to succeed even though you failed.
So 4 boxes.
It's basically like mark 2 boxes of indebted to just get access, or try to get access through a roll.
And then-
if you fail the roll, just say like, I actually succeed because I'm gonna like use my press pass for
Okay.
being a student journalist. But now
My student
you
ID
owe,
card.
but now you owe something to the newspaper,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
they can call in and be like, you need to do this for us.
I need you to be here to cover this
Exactly.
football game.
Yeah,
There's
cover the-
boxes called indebted that
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
has, and that's your maximum limit of debt to the newspaper,
Right,
to
right.
God, to
Yeah.
the fairies, to the criminals.
Pizza.
I'm indebted to
if you're a
pizza.
pixie.
So you have that word on the street. When you use intellect to create an advantage based on reports from informants,
Mm-hmm.
you get an extra invoke.
Okay.
So if you like use your contacts to like create an advantage with intellect, you get an extra invoke.
That's fun.
And then media frenzy.
Oh yes.
Once per scenario, mark 5 indebted boxes with your organization to initiate a media storm from which no one in the spotlight can hide. For the rest of the scenario, when asked, the GM must provide the location of people targeted by the media frenzy, unless they disappear into the never never.
my
You
God.
also create an aspect for the frenzy which you can invoke for free once.
Yeah.
So basically, you just make it so that no one can hide from
You basically
You've
are-
exposed some
Yeah.
some organization.
Or written something that's untrue.
You've done yeah. So that's all stuff you got. Make sure you have. That's all your core.
Yeah.
Look through the additional stunts for journalist and were creature.
Okay.
You get to pick just one of those for free.
Okay. one of that total.
Of either of those two.
So
Yeah.
underneath the course, since there's a
Yeah, but I know you're
You
not
can
saying
choose
one of each.
one, but from either.
Yeah.
And then also, everyone will have 3 points of refresh. You can spend 2 of those to just get extra stunts.
Okay.
You just get less fate points from the start. Basically, refreshes. Every time we restart a session, you get however many fate points of refresh you have. So if you don't spend on any extra stunts, you'll get 3 fate points at the start of every session. If you spend 2, or if you spend 2 on stunts, you'll just get 1 each session. So if you want extra stunts and stuff from there, you can have them too. Cool. Let's come back here. You've been sitting for a while.
Oh, no, it's okay. So I pretty much just kind of came up with like, just kind of things that I would like to get done, just kind of spitballing. So like just stuff that fits in that goddess kind of zone. There's definitely like the
Auto zone.
there's the what I've kind of been calling like the meet cute, which is if I, and maybe this is 2 separate things. One is sensing compatibility between people, and the second thing is enacting that compatibility.
So
but I don't know if
it's
that's
almost like a
like-
magical sense. Like you can tell if people are soulmates.
Yeah,
I don't think
if
that
they're like,
you could do both as one power. I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't
it
seem
might
too
be just-
powerful. I mean,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like maybe that's one thing of like part of it is you can tell when people are like
compatible.
a
Yeah,
match
yeah.
or soulmates or however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Like that's almost like a magical sense, which is probably fairly rare.
Yeah.
Like not.
Well, that's why I'm kind of thinking like she's less soulmate oriented and more like realistic dating oriented, where it's like, oh, these people could get along, you know.
Yeah.
it's like you
for,
can sense compatibility.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's
Like you can sense
So
whether two
what would
people.
that would give you a bonus to interacting with these people?
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of, because I want to be able to like matchmake essentially. So if I see 2 people who I can tell are compatible, I can do some kind of inciting.
How about this? You can like. How about when you use, let's say, one of the focuses. Let's say for now, flare. When you use flare.
Oh yeah.
To when you use flair to maybe create an advantage by
Social
linking
advantage.
by linking 2 people together somehow. Maybe that's just kind of the vague way to put it is linking 2 people. You get a +2 to the roll.
Okay.
So maybe that type, or
What if you expand out the compatibility? What if it's not just someone's romantic compatibility, but you're able to like see like the web of fate? I mean, this is
like
like
you're
very,
actually making bonds between people.
yeah. You're like, oh, those 2 people could go
How about-
into business together,
how about something
and
like
so
this?
you're like these 2 people.
What about like the breaking a rules thing? What if there's a breaking rule? What if it's like once per session, you can maybe put like something along the lines of like put a connecting aspect on 2 people, like once per session. Like if it is like a matchmaking thing, like you put like if it's Joe and Vanessa, you like give both of them a like enamored with each other aspect. And you get a free invoke on it, or something like that. And it's like a way that you can like connect 2 people. It doesn't have to be love. It can be like you're just making 2 people realize like, oh, we could do better this thing together. Like forming a bond through an aspect that you can make once per session. And you get a free invoke.
And the evoke is like you're the person who brought them together, so they're like, yeah, this person brought us together. It was great.
And you can basically invoke that for free just to do something, even if it is like I don't know. You make it so that like 2 people realize they would be good business partners, and then when they open that business, you want to like convince them to help you do something. So you got a free invoke to convince them. Does that seem like something?
Yeah, I'm like kind of thinking of it in like. The way that I've kind of envisioned it is like being able to do something almost like distractionary in a, maybe say there's a sneaky scenario and maybe it's like, oh, these 2 guards could potentially be into each other Like,
Yeah, so like you can do that once
You
per
just kind of,
session,
like-
and then you just get a free invocation.
Hey, like, why don't you guys go? You guys should go kiss in the closet.
yeah.
yeah, and like maybe that's and that's like
That's great. And the aspect that you're creating is like they're distracted by boning.
and
Go up by 'em.
and because you get a free invoke on the aspect you've created, you can spend that invoke to declare something happens. You can spend that invoke to give yourself a bonus on the roll.
Yeah, or declare that they're canoodling in the closet
Wink.
while we're walking through the gate unmolested.
Modern day Cupid, I think, is an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's not particularly specifically romantic, but it could be.
Yeah.
And it just, you're creating a bond and you're putting an aspect on people.
Yeah.
So are you worshiping Eros or Aphrodite?
So maybe with that thought in mind, maybe it is Aphrodite because she's kind of a more all-encompassing,
Beauty
like,
and
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that, and that's open-ended, and it's powerful, but it's once per session. Okay, so that's one core stunt, let's
Yeah.
say.
So, so these are just things I kind of like spitballed around with, and like maybe you guys can kind of. So there's like, so I do want an aspect with the lovebirds.
Yeah.
So like something about like being able to communicate with them or send them off or
Something, yeah.
something along those lines.
So something with the lover. Okay, what else?
Yeah. So there's like charming essentially, like being
I know.
charming or like.
Uh-huh.
And I guess
with
that's
magic.
similar to like
So you're 60,
that other
not
aspect,
35.
except it's with me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's like charming people to yourself.
How about something like this for that? Like doing the approach of like giving yourself a just a general action you can take of like you can make an attack with guile to charm people.
Yeah.
And like basically if you take someone out with that,
Uh-huh.
the concession is they're charmed by you.
Yeah.
Effectively.
And you tell, you say what they're doing.
Yeah, because the concede mechanic is basically if you win the conflict, you get to say how it plays out.
Yeah.
So if you win the conflict by taking them out through charm,
Social attacks, essentially.
then, yeah. So maybe that's just the thing is you can make an attack with guile. One thing we should have is a way to spend those boxes.
There's
like
like-
a basic.
Yeah. So like the other stuff I just
So maybe we add on to the bond thing that like you get a free invoke and you can check a box of your like connection to Aphrodite to like invoke it again.
Oh, yeah. I was going to suggest to base it off kind of the criminal one, which allows you to take like a point of heat to like get +2 to a roll to intimidate someone. But instead of intimidating, you do
to charm essentially.
you charm someone
Right. So yeah,
to like add stress to your social attacks, essentially.
so how about those two things? Like we have this thing, and you've created this aspect that you get a free tap on, and you can spend one of those boxes to get another tap on it, which is basically just a +2 to a roll of some type. When you're dealing with those people, you put the aspect on, and maybe we have just the simple stunt where you can make an attack with guile. I assume for charming, you can make an attack with guile, and it's basically a social attack.
Yeah.
And then you can spend a box to give that +2,
Yeah.
which is basically the criminal thing. And that's like drawing on the Aphrodite powers to like charm this person somehow.
Amping up your own beauty or personability or
Yeah,
like to supernatural levels.
And then like I would say two stunts is pretty
It's pretty good.
decent. I would say one of two things. We could give you maybe like one more, but not give you a mortal mantle. Or maybe like leave it at that, or give you something kind of like low power, and then you take a mortal mantle also because you're just a person who is granted power by the goddess, but is not like you're not like a
This
wizard.
is like shapeshifter, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically shapeshift where you've got like,
Yeah, she can't throw fireballs.
right.
Yeah.
You can do two things and probably add more on later. But I would say either like one more powerful thing, and then maybe you become kind of maybe you're a little more of just a supernatural thing, or
So
mortal things.
would it help to go through some other additional stunts to like find the scope of them in order to.
Because I know you want to do something with the birds.
Yeah, I do want to do something with the birds specifically, whether it's like, and one of the thoughts was like this seems more powerful than anything else, but like having them be able to carry me a short distance or something.
A bird.
A bird.
What about
Like,
a bird?
A bird.
What about seeing through their eyes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
As
a good
like your
one.
familiar sort of.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
good.
like and that could even just be like a Mark II boxes to have your birds like find something for you
yeah.
type of thing.
Find
Yeah,
someone or
that's
find
good.
something.
Yeah.
And that's similar to the journalism thing where it's like Mark II boxes of indebted. Maybe
Yeah.
instead of that, it's Mark II boxes of your connection to Aphrodite.
Yeah.
And we'll
I
have to
like
figure
that.
out how to refresh that. A lot of them are just like every session you get one box back type of thing.
That's like the
which
knowledge one.
probably feels like this
But-
is like you're going and like
Let me look at how the like fairy ones work. Because I'm pretty sure for those you
there
have to.
might
like-
be even some like charming ones in the fairy section.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Is there something about like, and this is in the same kind of, something about being able to spy with the birds and they just like tell you what they heard?
Like,
Because they're little parrots.
well, certainly if you're having spying you, that's how they would report back.
Yep.
They would they would literally just repeat back whatever they saw.
Yeah.
But somewhat badly.
Yeah. I'm just looking through the face stuff.
If you
and
ever
seeing if
fill the
there's-
track, you have 3 options. Oh, this is like for changelings.
right, that's like you call because you're not fed.
So for like that, it says like you choose. If you use up all your Fey boxes, you have to either become fully Fey and change your mantle,
or become mortal and lose all Fey powers.
or deliberately shun using all your stunts for a whole session,
Yeah.
as you have to like recover.
Yep.
So that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel as right for what that is.
Some of them had things. I thought maybe it's Kringle that you have to like. You have to like do things for. You have to like spend time doing things.
To recover
recover
boxes.
it.
That feels right. Like, and you can recover one.
Like
I think a
mine.
lot of those are like you recover one box just for like
Let me look at knowledge. 'cause
just
that's
for
the one that
like
does that.
taking time to like do like prayer and stuff, and then you recover more boxes for actually undertaking deeds.
Yeah.
That
I have to plan a wedding to like recover my box.
Recover through research on your free time for knowledge.
Yeah.
Restoring 1 in between sessions, and that one has a specific into deep, which means you like refresh your boxes, but you get this check thing that's like a supernatural creature notices that you're like poking around and like tries to mess you up.
And I think we're gonna give you like a box that's like you have to maintain the faith basically, and if you go against Aphrodite's
If
designs,
I like break somebody up, like that's
like if you go against her designs in any way,
Unless it's the next person, unless it's serial dating, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yep.
then
Aphrodite's
you
fine.
like basically lose all of your power until you atone. Is like the thing. Well, what do you want to do with the birds? What sounds like the thing you would want to do with the birds?
I do like. I like kind of that, like sending them to find things or spy. Like,
Yeah. So let's say you can spend 2 boxes of your power to like have them like basically like find someone and report on like what they find. And
So it's like a less good version of her media frenzy, because that means permanently until the end of the.
it's less that, but it's almost the same as her basic thing where she
Oh.
can just get access to someone.
Yeah.
It's like a less.
Hers is like access to a place, and yours is like finding where the place is.
Yeah, and like hearing like what's going on a little bit, maybe
Yeah, yeah.
if it's under circumstances that parents could do that.
yeah. Like, do those things like well connected fall under that stuff?
What's well connected?
It's
again?
like, what was it? It was
So
on
you
the-
can create your own stunts.
Yeah.
So
What did Well Connected do?
Well Connected is just having a lot of.
it's in the
Contacts.
it's in the
Contacts.
stunts.
What that could be like your extra stunt.
Yeah, that might be what I do with
Yeah.
that because like that seems like what a wedding planner would do, and like
Yeah.
that's kind of her.
Yeah.
That could be your if you've got 1, 2, 3, and then you get an extra one. That could be your extra one.
Okay, yeah, I
That's it.
think that's what it's gonna be.
So that's your spending. That's your core stunts. That's your extra one. That's your mantle. I think that's set.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and fill out?
Yeah,
So,
so
you
it's
get
probably
a
gonna
3, 2 2s, 2 1s, and a 0.
Right.
And then
A 3, 2 2s.
a 3, 2 2s, 2 1s, and a 0.
Yep.
And then so this is your like, however you want to put like your connection to Aphrodite. You have 5 boxes.
Faith. I don't know.
Sure. Love currents.
Love.
Love points.
Love. The love points.
And then, so that's 5 boxes you'll fill. Not mark them in, but like outline them.
Yeah.
And then this one we'll say is like crisis of faith. That's the one you'll check if you like lose favor with Aphrodite.
3, 2 2s.
What do I do with scale?
So scale, basically the only thing you'll have scale on, you go up. You're a normal. What is it called? The bottom one.
Mundane.
Monday.
You're mundane, except when you are in cat form.
And then
You
I am.
go up to supernatural with anything that the bobcat would be better than a human at.
Okay.
So like probably like they're crazy strong, they're crazy fast,
Can climb
they
things.
can climb things like anything that a bobcat
Jump.
ostensibly would do better than a human at, you're supernatural while you're in cat form.
Okay.
And we'll deal with how that
And
works.
for me, it's just magic only.
magic, yeah. And for you, it's probably your powers, but not.
So
normal
when you're
stuff.
when you're using your checking off something to gain an advantage, you count as supernaturally charming.
or like using your core stunts, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, for just like person stuff. just
Personal
your
stuff,
your
mundane.
Person stuff.
Okay, so the last things. So you have your core stunts and your extra stunt. Did you pick an extra stunt?
Yeah,
Which
my
one?
extra stunt I'm picking is shifting adept, which means that I don't have to worry about where my clothes and belongings go when I shift.
A good extra stunt.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
pick an
Not
extra
yet.
stunt? And you were saying you might want to take the magic item one.
Possibly, or so the options for specifically for my mantle are channeling specialists. You either get +2 on the default action for your talent, or get a new approach and action
Oh yeah,
combination.
you can get a sandblast.
Yeah.
You could be better at blinding people.
Yeah. That or self-immolation. You may mark the imperil condition to do your exhausted ability again.
That's good.
In case of emergency, break self. The same thing for burned out.
Good.
Ritualist, when preparing rituals that fit into the penumbra of your talent, add +2 to preparation and reduce the cost by 1.
Yep.
Or Paranetter. I'm involved in the Paranet. And I can
you just have a network of people who know stuff.
yeah. What is it, 121?
Excuse me.
Also, so for like the conditions,
Uh-huh.
how do you know how many boxes to like highlight?
So that should be listed in. So for the transformation, it's just 1 because
Okay.
that is like it's either checked or it's not.
Yeah.
For what's your next one? Your credentials.
Press credentials.
All
yeah.
3 of yours are actually either just 1 because they're
Okay.
just checked or they're not.
Right.
Whereas you have a 5 because it might be the crisis of faith is just 1
Just one.
because that one's just
Oh yeah,
either
I
checked
did
or not.
something bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Paranetter, I'm an active participant in the Paranet. Collection of low-level talents include immortals communicating over the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
Once per session, you may contact the Paranet to request assistance. You, the GM, determine what aid the Paranet is able to provide. It's typically helpful information. Sometimes, in extraordinary circumstances, it can dictate in-person aid or maybe even a warden intervention
Yeah. You can call in backup
if you're...
for an NPC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Well, very rare. Basically, I would like clue in the magic cops to...
Yeah. But it's somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing, the last 2 things, you can take up to 2 more stunts, and that's you're spending. You have 3 refresh. You can spend another refresh on a stunt, and then a second refresh on a stunt if you want, or you can have more fate points to start out with, and then like basically at the end of every session you can buy stunts with extra refresh. So if you want to like see how if you have any to spend. So basically, like you could spend it now if you wanted extra stunts and you just won't have as many fate points to start, or you can wait, see if you want to spend more, and then like at the end of every session you'll have that option. So
Yeah. I think I want to stay at the 3 that I'm at.
yeah, starting with
For
3
right
refresh
now.
is good.
So a 3, 2 2s, 2 1s, and a 0.
Yes. Yeah, as long as you got your extra free stunt, you're good. And then the last thing we should do, and we'll try to do it quick, because this took longer than I thought it would. Not that we're that much of a rush.
I think I'm going to do the additional.
Approach? The
Yeah.
basic, yeah. What do you want?
I'm thinking of doing an attack
Yeah.
of a focus attack to shatter glass.
Yeah.
To like, if there's glass around, to like blow it out.
But you're
towards-
specifically using it as an attack.
Yes, to do damage.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So like whether it's blowing glass
So
out.
it won't necessarily have like that much impact on like. I think we could use it for like if you want to blow a window out, great.
Yeah, sure.
But like,
An attack with focus involving sand or glass somehow.
yes, yeah. Yeah. As long as you're not like using it to like, well, I'm going to create an advantage by.
No. The only advantage I can create is blinded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think he's too good at aiming. He's like not great at aiming things.
Yeah.
So like it's easy to blow sand at someone because it's like a cloud of. But
Cool. That's a great stunt.
Our viewer likes my Bobcat character.
We all like the Bobcat. We all like all of them. I think that'll be a fun group. So the last thing we should do, if you decide you want more stunts, before we start,
In my sleep.
feel free to buy the stunts. Like
Okay.
we don't need to worry. You have everybody should write down. You have 3 refresh.
Yeah.
It's there.
I mostly am deciding not to pick any stones because I'm out of space on that box.
That's fine, and you can write them anywhere. on the
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
It's a strangely small box.
It is. It's weird. I think it
maybe
printed
they just
weird
want
because
you to
it's
have
not.
the like page number.
Oh.
Maybe they're expecting you
Yeah,
to just
it's
write
up
it
to-
down.
And like if you want, get a second piece of paper that has your stunts or right on the back. Like great.
Yeah, maybe.
I won't allow it. I'm the GM.
Only one paper. That's it. So the last thing we should do is try to figure out at least 3 aspects for everybody, and that should be decently easy.
Does that mean including high concept trouble?
That's
and then-
including that.
Okay.
So let's start with high concepts, and that should be relatively
Simple.
easy.
Yeah.
So high concept is obviously incorporates your mantles, and we've done high.
My high
concept.
concept is glass blowing silicomancer hippie.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Mine's journalist werecat.
Yep, that's exactly student journalist. Werecat.
Student journalist werecat.
Probably feels
Student,
more,
comma, journalist.
comma,
Werecat.
And mine would probably be wedding planning emissary of Aphrodite.
Yep,
Mhm.
that's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Oh, you need the eraser.
Give me the eraser.
Ravioli, ravioli. Bring
Give
me
me
the
the
eraser-oli. That was not planned.
Not planned.
Not planned?
No.
Oh,
Not plant.
My little sister
That-
says formulae. Give me the.
I see. Okay.
or
As long
ravioli.
as it's something that you've heard before, not something that just happened.
Yeah,
without
that would
any
be
previous
that would
context.
be very weird.
Yep.
Okay, so high concept, that's easy. Trouble concept, trouble aspect, excuse me. So yours feels pretty easy in a way that it's like you're being hunted by these guys.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should start with that being my trouble, or if that's something that's to be revealed later.
So
in
the
the
other
game.
thing, I think starting with that is a trouble, unless you have
Okay.
something else in mind.
Okay.
Which if you do, perfectly acceptable. But
No.
that's probably the big trouble.
Yeah.
And
Hunted.
The other thing,
Hunted
so
and unqualified. to
every
do the things
minor
I'm trying to do.
milestone, you can change one non-high concept aspect in some way
Mm-hmm.
to reflect the play. So you don't have to, but basically, like if that shifts in some way, or you want to make something else your trouble, like you can change that after every session. And then after the major milestones, you can change, like, you can update your high concept in some way, or like, depending on what happens.
Cool.
So how would we phrase that, like...
Hunted by blobs.
Could be like, hunted for what I am, like hunted for...
Yeah. I mean, right now I just have hunted, but...
Got me on LifeLock.
Could even just be hunted by LifeLock.
Yeah.
LifeLock. That's so stupid. And yeah, like, if that shifts, great. Like, if you want to change that to, like...
Hunted by a vast.
A vast?
Yeah. That's the computer.
Oh, it's a different one. Okay, I see.
I was just making a
vast
stupid...
what?
Pirates.
Yeah. Hunted by a vast mateys. Yeah, so if that's where it starts and it doesn't end up there, great. Like,
Okay.
Especially if it changes through play. If there's like a specific person at that company that like identifies as like hunting you. If you just like want to change that, like, you know, hunted for the wrong reasons, like something like depending on how that changes, we can. Do either of you have thoughts as to your troubles?
Oh, I just wanted to say what I did my stats at.
Oh yeah.
What did you guys do? I got 1 flair, 3 focus, 2 force, 0 guile, 2 haste, and 1 intellect.
And you already said yours.
You already-
Oh, and
high
mine-
intellect.
Yes.
Mine is 2 flair, 1 focus, 0 force, 3 guile, 2 haste, and 1 intellect.
That makes it no force. Yeah,
Yeah,
makes
no
sense.
force.
Yeah.
And my second ones are force and haste. So
Yeah, that's a good spread.
Yeah.
Not that it matters too
Yeah.
much.
no, I'm not.
Do you have any thoughts on your
So, trouble aspect.
Divorce rates are on the rise.
I mean, that's very funny. I was actually thinking along the lines of divorce, like she's going through a divorce.
Oh.
But, like,
Yeah, there's something there.
there's something
So,
funny
like, the
about
trouble is that, like, there's sort of a stain on your personal reputation.
Trouble aspect is like,
Or...
I'm the only one who no one loves.
Yeah.
The trouble aspect
Always
is my
the wedding
ex-wife.
planner, never
My
the
ex.
wedding.
That's my ex-wife.
Oh, always the wedding planner, never the bride.
Never
That's
the
very
wedding.
funny. That
Like,
is very
you
funny.
just, like, you can't find love.
I can't find love. I
Oh my
love that.
God.
That's actually
Or
very
the other
funny.
one I was going to suggest for you was that, like, if you're a wedding planner in a college town and you're like, this new
Have to deal with a
generation
lot of
is
Mormons.
delaying marriage until later in life. Back
Better
in my
invest in the
day,
farm.
back in my day, you were married before 23.
How old do you think this character is?
I think she's just like mid 20s to
Okay,
mid 30s,
yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Just like there's something so fun, like this occurred to me, but I would never do it. Which is just like ASU. It's like date rape city,
Oh,
which would be
God.
awful
Oh,
for
God.
her,
No,
and like she
no.
would be so upset.
Yeah, I don't want to, like, have to
No,
deal
I don't
with
want to
that.
have to deal
No,
with
that's
that.
not
I think
great.
it's
Like-
too dark, but like,
But,
just like,
oh, God.
but maybe there is something about like more generic, like people aren't falling in love the way
She's-
they should be or whatever.
Yeah.
She has
Not
like
falling in
romance.
love, just falling in lust.
Yeah, she like has these very old-fashioned romantic notions of what intimacy should be like, and
Yeah, if you want that to be like,
I almost think what encompasses both concepts of like, which is I can't find love and also people are not, it's just hopeless romantic.
Hopeless.
Like-
literally hopeless.
Literally
romantic.
like hopeless
That's
romantic.
pretty nice because it's kind of vague. Where like, it is your trouble where you are like, you're really trying,
Yeah.
but it's like just not working.
Uh-huh.
But also you like get stuck in like old style, you know, like you can
Yeah.
be fooled by people who are being chivalrous.
How about,
And they're
Yeah.
thinking
how
they're
about-
not like
how about
assholes.
specifically like hopeless, old-fashioned romantic?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
To like put that aspect into.
I thought you were gonna end at just hopeless old-fashioned.
Yeah.
I'm a hopeless
My favorite
old-fashioned.
type of donut, a hopeless old-fashioned.
My
And,
favorite
like,
type of drink.
That probably will try to that'll probably will shift as we play, but I think it's a good
Yeah.
place to start.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Because I think we can find ways to tap that to give you trouble. Or I say tap, but that's not right. But invoke
Yeah,
that
invoke, yeah.
or compel.
So now we just need our third.
And
I'm
so-
not sure. There's a couple of things that seem like very low-hanging fruit, like marijuana is not illegal in Arizona. It's like a big pothead, or like used to like has an old conviction for like growing weed.
There's something like off the grid almost.
Oh, I was thinking,
yeah.
like very like aggressively anti-capitalist.
Yeah,
Who, like, lives
anti-capitalist
in a
off,
bus.
Yeah.
anti-capitalist off grid, but you're
Is that your trouble or just another aspect of you?
Well,
It
'cause
could be either.
Well, because if he's like a funny like libertarian. No, but he's like, like, screw you, cops. Like,
Yeah, so like maybe it's like can't
anti-conformist.
help fighting the system,
Yeah,
like something
Must-
like that. If you
must
want
fight
to
the
phrase it
system.
like a trouble, like
yeah.
something along those lines.
Anarchists. Just an anarchist.
anarchist trying to fit in.
Like
Anti-authority. What does that cop say to Lebowski?
oh yeah,
Oh God, what does he
I
say?
can't think of what it is.
Anyone who's watching, what is that, please?
Oh yeah, we wish we were playing too. We'll play next week.
We'll play next week. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll be good.
and you'll be back, right? Right?
Please say yes.
Please say yes.
Please say yes.
Yeah, but something along the lines of like anti-authority.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's an old hippie like revolutionary.
He's 43.
Wait, is he a professor? You decided?
He's an adjunct.
He's
professor?
an adjunct professor who's
Okay.
He's a substitute adjunct professor for when the actual glass blowing professor is sick or like has to go on vacation.
Only
or
for when
something.
he's sick.
Yeah, he's there like twice a month tops.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of those times is just him checking in.
Yeah.
Hey, you need?
Hey, you guys need anything? I'm here to pick up my check.
It's for $90.
Yeah.
That's all he needs, man.
Okay.
Anarcho I can't read that.
Anarcho-syndicalist.
Yeah.
Like how? Yeah. So something like look that up. But the
I'm gonna
trouble
look
is
that up.
something along the lines of like you don't.
Find those
you
He's
don't-
just like a very low income, very like anti-system.
He lives
kinda
in like
guy.
a bullet
He's
trailer.
like he's like he's not one of the sheep.
Yeah. Not one of the sheep.
That could be a struggle.
What if
That's like
if your
not
trouble
one of
is
the sheep.
wake up sheeple?
Not one of the sheeple.
Okay, so
Not a sheeple.
yeah, not a sheeple. Hashtag not a sheeple. Let's think of one more aspect for each of you, then how you're connected to each other, and then I think that's probably close to it. So just think of something else that's like, what else is important to them? What else do they deal with? Like, that's like maybe a little not connected quite to. Could be like a tangent of your, like if you wanted to like.
I'm thinking mine would be like, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. Like
Yeah.
like
Like you
self-righteous investigator spirit.
something
It's
about
like-
like there's also something so funny about like you being like a serious journalist for
Yeah.
like a school paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Like could be like not this exactly, but like big fish in a little pond. type
Try
of
hard?
thing.
Yeah.
Try hard.
Perennial tryhard.
Or something like it doesn't
Not a sheeple, comma, man.
Yeah.
something like it doesn't matter that it's just for a school paper. Like journalism is journalism and it has to be kept to the highest like
That's-
integrity.
Yeah. Something like that could be like something about journalistic
Or
integrity.
like the stakes don't shake my principles.
Yeah. How would you phrase that in like a short like?
Yeah.
What was it again? The stakes don't shake. my
Even
hand.
though it's like low, even though it's just a school paper, she's like gonna hold herself to like the maximum like ideals of journalistic integrity.
Oh. What about just maximum journalistic integrity?
That works.
Yeah, like I feel like there's such a good way to phrase it. I just can't think of like.
I wanna almost think of something like that my character would say. That's like my motto.
Something about truth.
The truth is out
The
there.
truth will come out.
Yeah, like
If no one will search for the truth, I will.
Digging for the truth. Something about like.
like focused on the eyes on the truth. That's a weird sentence. That's not
Eyes on the truth.
Eyes on
Eyes-
apostrophe S on the truth.
Eyes on the truth, hands on the heart.
Something like school paper, world class journalism.
I can massage it for a little bit.
Yeah.
If you guys want to think
major
of
journalism major.
Mage. Journalism, major.
Some like mini Walter Cronkite.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is.
But something
Yeah.
along the lines of like, you have like extreme journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
Why don't we just like put it whatever it was we
Maximum
said.
journalistic.
Maximal journalistic integrity.
Why don't we put that for now?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we know like what that is, and if you find a good way to phrase that feels right to the character, then just change that, and that's it.
Yeah.
But we know what the intention of that is.
Mm-hmm.
What's another aspect for either of you?
So I was kind of thinking like there's something about like wedding planners, they're a very specific personality, which is like everything has to be very organized and also very like aesthetically pleasing and cute.
Yes.
Like there's like a very like, and I don't
You
know
have to
if
be like
type A, but also
yeah,
You have
like,
to like you have to be like into typography and calligraphy.
yeah, it's
and,
like
like,
something of like
aesthete. You're an aesthete.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Hashtag aesthetic.
yeah, like. And so, are you thinking of it more like you need to be in control of all the little pieces, or
yeah,
like,
it almost feels like a combination of those, like of I need to be in control of all the pieces and also like
As long
they need
as,
to be a certain way.
Control
as
freak.
long as it's stylish.
Yeah, as long,
That's what my
That's-
grandma's real life aspect is.
as long as
as long as it's
stylish.
stylish, she has said so
I
many
mean,
times.
that's funny. It's
I like-
not off of
What if it's like control freak something aesthete? I don't know.
Esthetician or like
it's a hard word
Esthetician.
to say every time.
esthetician.
What if it's like
At the well-appointed helm.
what if it's like any way you like as long as it's my way? Like something along
Yeah,
those
something
lines.
like that.
That's not quite right.
Yeah, I
anyway-
mostly want her to be like extremely organized and in a way that's like
Any way you want it, as long as it's fabulous.
yeah, something like that.
Interesting.
But that, I don't know, that implies a different, like, as long as it's fabulous, it's something I would expect.
Is the aesthetic part of it important? Like, is that? Do you
I
think?
mean,
that's
maybe it's not
It
as
can be.
important because like I don't want her to be like a functional perfectionist, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
because
where
I
she's
think-
not like the like she does keep everything.
It's something
What
that
about
like
something about being like almost supernaturally organized?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like you have a facility for like seeing all the moving pieces, like in a Sherlock sense, but
it's-
like
and it's-
only with.
and it's good because you can like follow through, like plan things and follow through. But when things kind of go to chaos, maybe you have more difficulty.
Yeah.
Dealing with
And
that.
I think, I don't know, from what you originally described, it seems like your hang up would be that if things don't look perfect, you can't move on from them.
Yeah.
It's like the perfectionist's trouble.
Yeah.
Completionist.
Completion. Yeah.
Completionist.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So how can you phrase that to be a phrase instead of just a word? Like,
I'm not a perfectionist, I'm a completionist. I mean, it's pretty like, there it is.
Something like down to the last detail.
Yeah.
Down
yeah.
to
That's
the-
really good because that combines both of those things.
Yeah.
Because it is like
Like you think of everything, but you also have to think of everything.
yeah, like it has to not only
It's
be
all on your shoulders.
yeah, like for example, I can't just
Yeah.
have like a schedule. It's got to be with the right color highlighter and it's got to be with
Yeah.
the right like
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Like you don't
We know those.
don't have you don't have a notebook.
Yeah.
You have notebooks
Yeah.
because some things need to be written in the flower notebook because
Yeah.
that's the kind of thought it is.
Yeah.
It's modern day. It's
Yeah.
present day. We'll have this up also if you want to watch it later. If you want to see the first part, we'll have it up on the channel soon. Probably tomorrow. I don't know. Sometime soon.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Within the next year.
So that's good. Do you have a third aspect in mind?
I was thinking like something like I don't know if he likes fish, but like someone who's like who basically like lived in a van for very many years. So you pick up a certain set of skills, right? Like you know where to park where you're not going to get
Transient?
like practice transient.
Yeah.
Trailer Park Boy.
Like
That's not a trailer park.
something like
Because they don't pay. They, like, you would
oh,
want to
yeah,
find
yeah,
a place
yeah.
to park that you could like filch some electricity by
something
like
like
running.
even if it's just simply like life on the road.
Yeah.
Like
Roadie. Perpetual roadie.
Roadie to the core, like life of a roadie.
Life of a traveler, in like the old Irish sense of like what they
Yeah.
call gypsies, right?
Yeah, if you like that, because that like implies also like you're good at the things that like you have to kind of fend for yourself out on the road and kind of scrap by, but also like you're not good at having a home.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
like putting your
Yeah, VW
exactly
bus.
like a VW bus.
Yeah,
feels like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Of like You
I
got
think now-
you got something painted on the side of your car.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Of course. I think he lives in a bus with no wheels at this point, but he still has his VW bus.
I'm sure that he drives my character crazy.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
because like she loves his work,
Oh yeah.
but like he's so like not.
She
in
loves
her
that his
little
work is
cute
art.
box.
So we should figure that connection out. So you
Come on over for sun tea.
Do you guys? I made it.
Oh my
in the
god.
sun.
Okay.
in the
I
sun.
just want to point out that Brandon is literally just playing my dad, and has been pulling specific details about my dad's life, which is that he's a big pothead, grows his own weed,
Yep.
blows his own glass, makes a lot of
Lives in a van
sun
with
tea.
no wheels.
Lives in a van. He doesn't live in a van, but there
So
is a
what
place
was
to
it?
park
It
a
was-
trailer.
Something like Life of a Traveler.
Life of a traveler.
Yeah. He lives in a van down by the river.
There is a river in Tempe.
Okay.
They actually blocked off part of it, so it's like a lake, but it's a lake that's really long and in a riverbed.
It is.
So the last things we should figure out before we go are connections.
Yes.
And these could turn into aspects if you wanted to have an aspect that was connected to another person.
Yeah.
So do you guys like that one where you guys work together?
Oh yeah. I make
I
make
You make
centerpieces.
Yeah, they're just so good that I can't resist hiring you. But
A
I
lot
just,
of like perfect like bouquet. They look like perfect bouquets, but they're made out of glass.
So let's go from. So we have that to there. How does this connect?
I mean, I think I have the easy one of like I could have just interviewed
Yeah.
both of them.
You did an art piece.
I would
Yeah.
almost bet because he's so anti-establishment that you look to him as an alternate source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll tell you what's up.
He's one of my anonymous sources.
That's funny. And then okay, yeah. So you had that, and like, and then how is this connected?
I mean, there's so many possible
Yeah.
ways to connect it. Maybe you keep getting assigned to my weddings as like a thing, and you kind of hate it.
Yeah.
But like you just.
Like, ugh.
Because when important people get married, they they
Yeah.
have a little announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they know that I have a camera that the school's
Yeah.
loaning me, so
yeah,
I can,
and it's just like, oh, the school paper doesn't really have a lot going on, so we're gonna send you out to do.
What if you like don't have any money, and so you like
I have like
moonlight as a wedding photographer for her?
That's very
That's very funny.
good.
funny.
Good.
How? Okay, so the very last thing to figure out is the inciting incident. So like, if that's the case, maybe something happens at a wedding that
Yeah.
you guys are all working, and like,
Sometimes, if I'm really low on money, I'll the cater waiter.
No.
I'll cater
well, you
waiter.
could be there to like
You,
have delivered and been like
Yeah.
installing them, and just
Well,
like,
I mean, if you cater waiter, then if there's leftovers, you could
well,
take
that's the
them
other
home.
thing. It's like you came and did the
my God.
installation of the centerpiece, and you stuck around to like have some steak.
I feel like you stick around all my weddings, but like I'm just like stay in the back.
So, see,
you're ruining the aesthetic of this wedding.
Yeah. So, what do we just like broad stroke? What do we want the inciting event to be?
I like the idea that it's
Sun Devils invade a wedding.
I mean, that's good.
or the wedding of two important players, and when they say "Speak now or forever hold your peace," someone stands up and is like,
I'm a Sun Devil.
I'm a Sun Devil.
And just hundreds of Sun Devils pour out of their open mouth.
Yeah, we don't have to like figure out like the whole of it, but just like
I want to write a script.
Well, you should. Like, where are you and what happens?
Isn't the Greek analog of Tempe where Eurydice was bitten by a snake?
Yes.
During her wedding?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
That's just interesting.
It repeats itself.
Okay, I'll go back and be a were snake.
No, but
yeah. So maybe there is like, it's like death at a wedding.
yeah.
It's like,
Or interrupt it, some sort of, whether it's death or...
Oh my gosh, I would love to cover a murder.
Yep.
maybe that's what we'll do.
true.
Yeah.
The bride of the wedding is killed during the wedding, and like, it's up to like you guys.
It's up
figure
to us
it
to
out.
find justice.
It's up to me to eat the leftover. I mean,
You're there to
find
eat the
justice.
So if you guys are okay with that, that
is
sounds
golden.
because the thing that like it tries to avoid is like, well, we're all in a tavern. Let's figure out why we would even want to bother. Like, I think it runs
We
with
each
the
have
assumption.
motivations because
I just thought of something funny. I might just save it. If I make flowers that are made out of glass, I could legitimately tuxedo mask someone.
I don't know what that means.
yeah, I
Like
don't know what
from
that means either.
Sailor Moon. There's like this like hero named Tuxedo Mask, and he like throws roses that like stick into stuff.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna tuxedo mask someone.
Well, and you've got the glass attack.
I know.
Oh, that's funny.
Tuxedo Mask.
Cool. So the first.
I don't know. I was hanging around with someone for a while who really loved Sailor Moon.
So the first inciting. So the inciting event will be
Death at a wedding.
Yeah.
And you
Death at
guys will
funeral.
be investigating that, I suppose, is
Yeah.
what we want to look at it. Cause
Well,
probably,
I'll certainly be investigating.
I'll be crying.
Yeah. Well, and you probably want to figure out.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
looks
what-
real bad
ruined
for your business.
Yeah. And you want more to see if there's more stake.
I want to see if there's more steak.
He has stake in the matter.
Well, I'm morally opposed to people being murdered.
Yeah.
And
I
married.
just want to really highlight Sarah's joke here.
What?
That he has stake in the matter.
Yep.
I also said that you're morally opposed to people being married and also
Well, that's funny.
Murdered
The state
because
should
you-
not be involved in marriage.
Yeah.
love is about souls, man.
Why do you got to bring the man into it? I mean, let's hear
and
to
here's
that.
the other
Yeah.
thing is like, you guys, I assume, know that you are all supernatural people, probably.
Uh-huh.
Like, so I think that
I
maybe,
prefer the term cat-like.
fair enough. But like, you
Cat American?
but you guys all know that you are
American
extraordinary in some way, and probably that maybe is the thing that will keep you together. Also, is that like, you know, you're of a similar vein.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah.
Or,
All right.
Or
So,
that when the real cops
If
come.
you guys want up to 2 more aspects, you can add them, and like if you do, just let me know what they are. But you can also add more later. Like that's something you can do after any is like add aspects. And then if you want more stunts, feel free to take them, but you can take them later. And let's say we'll figure out the logistics, but maybe next Sunday.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
We'll figure out the time. We'll put the time up on. You also have the time. We'll have the time up on the Twitch, and you'll see it.
The Twitch.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.